And a 1 and a 2 and a testing as well. I don't know. Man, I gotta get better intros. Welcome. This is on. Alright, we're good. And we are first looking for a embedded systems engineer. Intern. But this is last stream this week. I will be back Monday at 11 a.m. PST. So, have to miss the next stream. There we go. And what is a embedded systems engineer do? I don't know. That's why we gotta look it up. Is it the same as an automotive systems engineer? I also don't know. Let's see. Interested in a robotic software embedded roles. It's not going good at all. Oh, that's fair. R&D software, embedded software engineer intern. All right, for Neuralink. 35 an hour for an internship? Is that good? I don't know what the market value for internships are. I feel like that's good because that's like 70K. Obviously, you're not going to be doing it full time, but that's essentially like 70K a year for internships. But that seems good. I don't know the market value for that. Hopefully, somebody can tell me. Because, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we're looking for embedded systems. What is the going rate for internships? Because I thought it was like most of them were unpaid, and I've done paid internships before. I've hired for them before, but that was like 1 or 2, and it was in a very niche space, so I don't know if that's equivalent to everything else. All right. I feel like this is not the first embedded systems engineer I've done. Although there's not a lot of them. Is there a difference between systems engineer and embedded systems engineer? Because there's also an embedded software engineer. Embedded software hardware. I'm assuming those are the same, but I don't actually know. I wish this person was it. If this is your resume, some name, let me know, because it would actually be beneficial if you were here, so I could actually get some help on if this is the same position. Because once I can find the position titles, I'm good. But, you know, I'm not omnipresent in every single market. There's way too many. Okay, I may have to just judge this not by keywords, which really sucks. This means I'm doing entirely formatting. Luckily, it looks like off the cuff there's a lot of formatting issues. Well, not luckily. It's actually not good. But I guess good for the review. I don't know. That sounds weird. I don't like that. So I wish they didn't have it. I wish I wasn't able to say there's some issues with your formatting, because that means they're doing stuff right. ARM Cortex M series architecture. What the hell is that? That sounds like a video game. I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of this is. That's why I have to find it, and I don't know the job title, because the job title could be different. All right, so we have software engineer embedded automotive platforms. Is that functionally the same? I don't know. Looks like C and C++ is largely the same. Degree, and then we're going to go working together. I'm going to try to find one more. Okay, because if that's the same? I don't know. Software engineer, firmware engineer. Firmware is technically the internal stuff, I think. I don't know. Embedded software engineer. This is the actual one. C++. We have Python is relatively the same. Agile, working in a team. OS daemon experience. I swear this is like not a engineer. This is somebody that is like exercising demons. So, what the hell? Yeah, okay, that's all I could do. I don't want to keep wasting, not wasting, there's a limit to how much I can do with that, so it's unfortunate. And yeah, so yeah, get your questions in today, y'all. Make sure to ask me your stuff, because I'm not going to be here Friday. I'm going to be at a wedding. Technically, the wedding is not at the stream time, but there's a lot of prep. I got to get my makeup done because I have no eyebrows. So yes, I am getting makeup done, and I'm going to look very cool, which means y'all are going to see those on my thumbnails for my videos coming up, because it would be an absolute waste to not take pictures with them. Hey, Bear, good stretch. I am going to be all cool looking, and you're going to see Lee in like a suit or two, which is like a once-a-year thing. And not sweats, which is my natural environment. Okay, they just said it's not going well. They're interested in embedded roles. Okay, so I have a question for all of you, actually. Is take things with a grain of salt still used? Is that still an idiom or whatever? Because I use that a lot, but I don't know if that's common in the nomenclature anymore. But hopefully it still is. I also don't know if that translates to, like, other stuff. Oh, I missed that spot on my beard. But yeah, and we're going to do the first review. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. This is a resume review of a embedded software engineering intern. So, full disclosure on this, there were a ton of different titles for this. These keywords are not exhaustive, and they may not be 100% correct. So I'm going to largely judge this more on formatting than in particular keywords, because I couldn't find these. There was like a bunch of other jobs, and I didn't know if they were the same because I've not done an embedded software engineer before. I think I've done one before, but that's not enough to remember that because that was like 3 years ago. So this person has a 1:75 ratio, which is they have for every 75 applications, they've gotten 1 interview, which is not great, but as an intern, it's not great, but that's like a C- at best, right? So that's still kind of passing. They said it's not going good at all. And yeah, internship jobs are very difficult to get. So what we're going to loosely be looking for is embedded systems, C and C++, Python, and then maybe some of these like OS daemon experience. Like this sounds like a wizard, or Cortex-M. I swear I'm playing like a video game with those names. So maybe some of those along with the degree. And we want to know that you can work well with others. Because remember, as an intern, the soft skills are very important. You have to show that you're not going to get criticism of like, hey, Lee, your coding or your whatever Python is slightly wrong. And you're not going to just shriek and run out of the room. So, because that can happen. So let's review this resume. But first, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need more help, join my live stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. PST to about 2 p.m. PST. That's where I give more help, like interview tips and everything else that I can't really format into a video. So now, with extra ado, let's go to the embedded software engineering intern. So formatting wise, this is not great. My formatting is down below. That is what I want to see. I want to see that formatting, which, can I pull this up without, my keyboard is too loud, so I'm not going to do it. I'll have it up by the next resume. But yeah, so essentially this should not be bolded. This should not be bolded. And truthfully, I don't even know if this is really necessary. I'm kind of against skill sections personally, because a skill doesn't count if it's not in a bullet point that shows you how to use it. And if it's already in a bullet point that's easy to read, then why do you even need the skills section? So I'm not a huge fan of that. This, I think this can maybe be 2 lines max. Yeah, I want 2 lines max. I don't know how important the BASC in my program grade is, but maybe the recruiters who are recruiting for these one would know. Work experience, again, this should not be bolded. None of this should be bolded. Stop with all the bolding. It makes it way worse. Contributed to the development of an F4 vision framework using C, C++. Those are keywords I did see in multiple ones. So here's sort of the problem is I need to know what this is, right? The recruiter who is recruiting for this may not know what the hell that is. Now, it's good that they say platform software developer, but it's possible maybe an embedded software engineer intern is the same as a platform software engineer intern. The recruiter may not know that. I have not recruited for this in a very long time, so I don't know. You're going to have to tell us. And what you can do here, which is, I need to know what this is. Why is this important? Why was this framework good? But the keywords do seem to be correct, at least those. So develop Bash scripts to automate the functionality of CI/CD pipeline, improving the development workflow. Okay, I guess that's okay. Created unit tests in C++, code average, code quality. Again, I do want to see how you worked well with others as well. Working under the supervision of Professor He Who Must Not Be Named. All right, so Voldemort, got it. Let's see, you must not be named to the XYZ lab. That's okay, but I want to know a little bit more about what you did here, right? Like, I get that you worked under the supervision, but what did you do? Did you embed systems? I don't know. Did you work on your ARM Cortex-M OS daemon experience? Who knows? But you didn't tell me. Collaborate in Autoface with Carla for a Jeep Cherokee test run. Create Docker-sized simulation. That one might be okay. Again, I'm not going to be too harsh on the keywords this one because I'm not sure these are the correct keywords. Researching technique for overtaking an alternate planning trajectory on Agile. Agile is a good one. Honestly, I think if your formatting was better, you'd probably bring this down to a 1 in 60, 1 in 50. I wish I could give you more advice on specifically the keywords, but overall, this does not seem like a terrible resume. It's just the formatting is holding it back, and you're not really telling me why you did some things and a little bit how you've done some things. But it's not like every bullet point is bad. There's a couple of good ones. In fact, I know you said it's rough out there or it's not going well. It is rough out there, but this is actually how I know it's going kind of well is you got 1 in 75. And this, because you've wrote this the way you did, is why you're getting 1 in 75. You fix the formatting, maybe clean up some of the bullet points. Honestly, probably reduce a little bit of the keywords because there's probably too many for what you're looking for. And you should actually be getting like a 1 in 40, 1 in 50 at best. But I would say maybe 1 in 40 is good. And that's what you kind of want to shoot for. Because again, internships are highly competitive. So that's what I would recommend you do. It's just a little busy. And let's go to the next resume. All right, there we go. And yeah, if anybody in chat has any questions, be sure to ask them to me. That is your time. This is your question time for Lee. I am the recruiter. Yes, that is my title of the recruiter. There is no other recruiter. I am every recruiter. There is a hive mind of recruiters, and that is me. And right now, they all wish that you would stop bolding things. So much bolding. It's like, I get why some people do some things wrong. I don't get the bolding part, though. Like, I kind of do, because it's sort of the misconception of what is important and what is not important. And as a candidate, you're not aware of essentially the time constraints that we have. So, actually, I'm going to change this pinned message because I want people to ask me questions. Ask me questions. This is my office hours to answer anything you may have about your job search. So let me do that there. So, and again, I'm not going to be here Friday. What do you mean unable to pin? It's my pin. I am the stream person. I can decide what pins. Can I not really pin this? Okay, unpin this message and then pin this message. There we go. All right, that works. All right, entry level accountant. Okay, that's not bad. I'm a They're a stay-at-home parent re-entering the workforce after graduating with an accounting degree last fall. I have a little bit of relevant experience managing my husband's construction. I'm starting my job search, so I don't have data on the application interview. Okay, so it is good that you have that, but ideally you want a CPA because that's going to be the big thing. An entry-level accountant without a CPA. How tough is that? Accountants, entry level. Let's see. Do I have accountant? I've done like non-entry level accountants, but I don't think I've done it at one. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of research on this stream already. This is going to be the case. So, accountant trainee. Interesting. I don't know what that is. I mean, like, I have never... Let me just do accountant, and then let me switch experience level with... This is not always accurate, I'll be honest. Entry level. With the Los Angeles Metro. Nice. I like the Metro. They have a good bus system. Not the best, but not New York style, but it's actually pretty good. I like the LA Metro. Examples of duties, required, education. Yep, so we have obviously the education should be up here. So we want education. I'm going to put CPA because I absolutely know that's going to be important. And then accounting software. Accounting software applications, which I don't know what they are because they didn't actually list them. And then I'm sure we're going to do Word, this, and then Gap. That's my guess. I may be wrong, but probably Gap is going to be there, which is generalized accounting principles. That is in a large amount of job for accountants. Then there's Mr. Beast. Interesting. I'm going to take a quick side view. I wonder what, like, jobs they have. They have openings for application submission, language coordinator. Oh, that makes sense because they're in different languages. Language coordinator. That seems to be there. Okay, there's a lot of language. And a creative producer and TikTok specialist. What is a language coordinator? I am interested in that. A language coordinator... you will localization efforts and quality control. Okay, that makes sense. We're going back to that. I just thought that was interesting, and I'd never seen that before. Oh, I have the wrong view on. I'm sorry, y'all. There we go. Now you can actually see. All right, I know staff accountant is slightly different, but we do want to have just accountant in general. Orally, writtenly, accountant remote. There's a lot of remote accountant positions. That's actually pretty good. Degree, ERP. I actually haven't seen Gap. This is actually shocking. So let me see if... And let's see if this is 5,000. Still 5,000. Let's do GAP. 3,000. Okay, so those are correct. That is what we want. Obviously, Excel. A CPA is 1,200. So that's actually not as much as I thought. That's a bonus. It's not necessary. Huge bonus. Huge. But not actually as necessary as I thought. And this is why we double check. CPA, huge bonus. Not mandatory, but a huge plus. Pulse. Plus. Okay, whatever. So, let's see. So we're going back. And then we do... I know there's a difference between a staff accountant and a regular accountant. So I'm just going to do accountant 1. Management preference, minimum education experience. This is not a good job description. Not a good job description. Do. What the heck? This parsed poorly. I don't know what Mars is. Is Mars important, or is this just a singular thing? Mars. No, Mars is not important. That is in, like, so little of them. So, let's see. Staff accountant, let's do this. Gap, there it is. ERP, Microsoft Excel, and then we're going to do multitask. Actually, by meeting deadlines is probably going to be it. I think this is good. We've hit a good chunk of these. I'm just going to look at one more. Gap, QuickBooks. There it is. QuickBooks is what I want to see. Not always, but a lot of them use QuickBooks. I know. I like. See, there we go. This is it. This is what we can do. Man, quiet day in chat. All right, let's begin at People McPerson. Person McPeople. I am sorry. Actually, let me check something. I don't know what a Vita certification is. And apparently, neither does the job market. All right, well, so that doesn't matter. All right, slightly off, and let me pull up my own formatting real quick. It's my resume template that I made and still need to update, because there's a lot of stuff that I need to do, and I'm crazy behind all of it. All right, Clem. Okay, hold on. I gotta get a new bag of treats, but I wanted you to see what Bear's had. Oh, Bear, you moved. His ear was perked up. It was very cute. I don't think you can see it. So let me get you his performance review. Yeah, hi. Hello. All right. Now we're going to give you half a treat because your stomach may be upset today. All right. Performance review time. Bum 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 for bear. Okay, there we go. All right, sir. So, your performance review. I don't have the treat in this hand yet. Hold on, patience. It's not there yet. Chill. I'm just petting you. Oh, my hand is all slobbery. I have it. Give me a second. So, your performance this week has been, I'd say, average. You didn't go above and beyond. Every time you kept trying to get into the bed with me and Mom, you kept sitting on me instead of next to me. And you are 100 pounds. And that does, in fact, wake a person up when a 100-pound dog sits on them. So I wanted you next to me, not on top of me. In addition, I saw that you were eating grass. And as you know, our company has a policy against eating grass. This is also why you're getting half a treat in case your stomach may be upset, which is not good. But you got that by trying to eat the garbage, which we've tried to prevent. So despite all of that, you have been extra attentive. You gave Mom kisses, which she did not like, which I found funny because you have slobber. And overall, your performance has been good, but stay. You are a very good boy. Go get it. Good boy. Good boy. So yeah, he gets half a treat each time today. I do not want him to get sick. Which I'm not even sure what it is. He's been kind of crazy eating, trying to get into the garbage. So we've had to take extra preventative measures for it. And stop knocking over my green screen. Why? Alright. So let us begin on that. Entry-level accountants, they are stay-at-home. Okay. Funny. This is a resume review of a accountant. So this is an entry-level accountant position. They were a stay-at-home parent re-entering the workforce after graduating with an accounting degree last fall. They have a little bit of experience on managing their husband's construction company, but they are just starting their job search, so I do not know their interview ratio. So, first off, I'm glad you used this format. It is almost correct. I want to be clear. There's not a couple of things. You do not need this. Every single resume says this, and it is largely unimportant. Detail-oriented and motivated. Every single one starts like that. You don't need an objective. Objectives are only if there's something critically wrong with your resume. And we are talking like you are, in fact, this is an actual case I've seen is this person had a master's in wind turbine farming and they applied to a different position that was like a machinist, which is essentially just like on a conveyor line fixing machines. And the manager would not see the resume because, well, they have a wind turbine. Now, if that person said, despite a degree in wind turbine, I'm looking to transition into machining, that would have been acceptable. So you do not need an objective. This can be safely deleted. This should be one line. And this, I don't think is needed. I don't know what a VoD certificate is. And I looked it up on LinkedIn, and it doesn't look like any of them have it. So unless I really missed something, unless this is a very state-specific thing, I don't think you need a VoD certificate. In addition, if you are applying in the United States and you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder, put it here and then put in city and state. So that's a couple of formatting issues. Again, it should look like this. You don't need a skills section because a skill without a bullet point explaining it is irrelevant, with the exception of high-level managers. They get a pass on that. So let's go to the actual skills. What we're going to be looking for is the fact that you graduated. You have that. Good. Accounting software applications. What are they? I don't know. They just said accounting software applications. We need Microsoft Excel, Word, and QuickBooks. Those are pretty important. Not everything needs QuickBooks, but it was in a large amount of job descriptions. GAAP, ERP, those were all in a bunch of job descriptions. And if you have a CPA, it's not mandatory, but it is a giant plus. If you have a CPA, that's really, really good. And then multitask, prioritize, and work accurately and independently while meeting deadlines. Because almost every job has that as a qualification, which I'm not a huge fan of in the first place, but it is something you need to do on your resume. So let's see if you have the rest of that. You have the education, which is good. Again, I think you can delete this and delete this and then move the education to 2 lines. Household manager. Okay, so it's okay to change your job title, but this is giving this more pizzazz than I think it should be. I think you should just be honest with this, right? Like, you actually can use these skills as an entry-level accountant, right? You could say stay-at-home mom, and then you can actually put managed household budget using Excel. But household manager sounds a little bit off, right? You don't want to overhype what you do, because it's gonna look kind of weird. So yeah, I would not put household manager. You can just put stay-at-home mom, and then you can put the fact that you actually use this to keep track of that, right? I want to see that used Excel and QuickBooks to keep track of our and my husband's business accounts, that kind of thing. So took the lead in a complex custody case. Wait, why was I'm confused where this? So organize, schedule, and appointment events. This is fine, but you need to show how you did this, right? The thing with the keyword is what, how, why. It needs the what, which is the keyword, the how you did it, and the why you did it. Otherwise, it's a bad bullet point. And the problem with these two is you don't really tell me the how or the why. Develop strong interpersonal skills. Again, no, you need to tell me how you did that, and this is not what it is. Leveraging problem, no. So honestly, what you even can do, right? You can just do stay-at-home mom 2005 to current, and then what you should have is, child is currently old enough to stay at home, looking to re-enter the workforce full-time. And then here, what you can do is just maybe 2 bullet points quick about how you used Gap, ERP, or QuickBooks, or Microsoft Excel. The rest of this isn't as necessary. So these are the things I'm going to be looking for, and I don't really see them. You've said them, but you haven't showed me how you use them. That's why skills sections don't count, is you need to show how you use them. Which I can see for the rest of formatting, like I said, not a huge deal. It's primarily an issue of bullet points. I need more. And as a stay-at-home mom, this is where the objective is, right? You just say, moving to full-time employment as my child is now old enough to be by themselves, or whatever it is, right? That's 2005, so they are now, oh my God, I'm old. Oh, that one hurt. Doing that age calculation did not feel good for me. So yeah, just say moving into full-time employment from being a stay-at-home mom, so that they know specifically that you are doing that. So yeah, that's kind of my issue, is the bullet points are very bad. The bullet points are bad, and it looks like you're trying to hype up more than you did, which is not how you do it, right? You need to show how you used it, because it's okay to be a stay-at-home parent. There actually are transferable skills. It's just you don't want to say household manager and give it a fancy title, because they're going to get very confused. So overall, this resume would probably not pass, but you're mainly because your bullet points are not there. But yeah, like support a smooth operation. Again, you need to tell me how. It's what, how, why. And you told me some of them what. You've told me a little bit why. But I need what, how, why in every single one, with the exception of a summary sentence in every bullet point. Under each job, under every bullet point. So let's move to the next resume. It's for tax prep. Okay, so unless you're doing tax, it's not relevant. QuickBooks is in demand for smaller to 500 revenue companies and many startups. That's fair. Like, I didn't see it in a ton, because remember, like, we can look over here. Hi, Ryan. Accountant, and we can do I'm just going to do QuickBooks. Oh, that's not right. QuickBooks. Okay, books. Let's see. I hate how this works half the time, and it doesn't. So out of the 5,000 jobs, 2,000 of them basically have it. So it's still about a third of jobs, I'm not good at math, that have it, so it is important to have. And they're going for an entry level after college without a CPA, so they may need it. And you saw this resume is on our resume submit to your website. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's probably why they found me. Thank you very much, Clem. I appreciate it. So, and get your questions in, people. Again, I'm not going to be here Friday because I got a wedding to go to, which is why you're going to see some really slick-looking thumbnails for me. I'm going to be all in a suit, and I'm going to be like, yeah, hi, my name is Lee. I'm cool-looking. That's not what people in suits do, is it? I don't know. I'm a sweats and shorts guy. Which I think people can probably tell. We have an ad in like 20 seconds, so I'll do the next resume then. But yeah, there is a bit of an issue of people changing their job title to overhype it, which I think is the case of this, which you don't want to overhype your job title, which I do know why people do. That is something that is understandable to me because they don't understand the process of how it kind of works. So, all right, that one's good. Then we have a back-end software engineering, right? Just back-end software engineer, and I have no... What kind of back-end? Give me the time, please. So, we're going to go and SQL Cloud API. That's all I know. Does this person give their full contact? No, they didn't. Alright, and that is the right one there. That is this one, resume anonymous. Okay. No, I didn't mean to delete that. Whatever. Alright, and then we'll wait till after the ad to do it. It should be now. Really doxing me. I hate how my ads does this. Like, it's supposed to be on the schedule. You're messing my schedule up, all right? I need to know. It said you're going to go, and there it is. There it is. So, apparently QuickBooks... Okay, so QuickBooks is for people with 50 to 100 million revenue. Okay. I mean, I guess I understand it's not for, like, big ones, but what is the benefit of using QuickBooks compared to Excel? Like, what... I've not used QuickBooks. I did it when I was like 12 because my dad tried to teach me taxes and it didn't work at 12. But and as much as I like Excel and documentation, I did not care about it at 12 years old. So what is the importance of, like, what is the big difference? Is it just ease of use? So, because I'd be interested to know. Ba, 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 ba. Where's that from? Where's that song from? Do 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 do. I know. I think it's an anime. Bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba 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 ba. Okay, that's gonna bug me. I don't know where that's from. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's upsetting to me. Hi, are you cute, bear? Are you a cutie patootie? Are you having fun just chewing on your toy over there? I didn't say come over here. I didn't say come over here. Hi. Hi. I know. I love you. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I know, Bear. I brought you over here. You were chewing on your toy. You were having a good time. And we're going to get our pictures taken this weekend. Yeah. We're going to look so fancy. We're going to have a little family photo. Yeah. You gonna enjoy that, buddy? Yes, I love you. You get forehead kisses, but nowhere else, because that's I've seen what you do. That's gross. So, stop it. And I think I fixed my headaches, y'all, because I know every once in a while I was like, I got such a bad headache, I have to stop. It was my hair gel. The hair gel I've been using for a year and a half almost has been causing me debilitating headaches where I'd have to sit down for like 2 hours straight. So I'm glad I figured that out. I'm just upset that now I need to find a new hair gel. One is a spreadsheet app. The other is accounting software, so you can get invoices. Okay, so it's just more structured towards accounting. That makes sense. All right, well, let's do this resume, which I don't have much prep, so... This is a resume review of a back-end software engineer. What kind of back-end software engineer, you ask? I have no idea. They didn't tell me. If you specify back-end, you need to tell me your language stack, because that is how they judge you in recruiting. It's not really judging, but that's what they do. So a Java developer is going to have different than a Python, is going to have different than a C++, is going to have different than a whatever else. So I don't know what the keywords are going to be except for SQL, Cloud, and API, because that is sort of standard. But there are probably about 20 other keywords that you're going to be missing by not picking a stack. So let us begin. This can probably be sit down into 2 lines. This formatting is also not great. It is too fancy. You want a boring resume. Boring resumes are best. Data migration intern. Also, this person did not tell me their ratio either, so I have no earthly idea how effective this resume is, which I really need people to tell me what their ratio is if they have it, because like sometimes in different markets and very specific things, you can do things differently and have success, and I need to know that. Because the advice I give is generalized advice across multiple markets, but it's not generalized. It can't be for every market. So in this case, I'm assuming it's not great, but whatever. I don't know for sure, and it's very good to have that data. I need data. Recruiting is very data driven. So again, this should not be bolded. Data integrity. I don't see anything for back end. Nothing here. Utilize Google Flash, blah, 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 blah. Don't care. Okay, it's here. Stop putting your keywords here. If a keyword is not in a bullet point and it does not tell me the how, the what, the why, or it's not in the summary bullet point, it doesn't count. This doesn't count. I need to know how you do this. And it looks like this is maybe a Python dev, in which case, let me get my Python stuff. So, if this is a Python software backend engineer, what we are going to be looking for is this going to parse? Yes, this. All right, we're going to be looking for Python, SQL, Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, RESTful API, Agile, and a bonus for full stack. I don't see that anywhere here, and MongoDB can be one. I'm going to count MongoDB. Oh, what? You put it here? Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Does not count. Needs to be here. You need to tell me how you do that. SQL. Okay, so this entire thing, the only thing I found was... Oh, wait, no, here it is. All the way down here to get to Python. You need these keywords, and you need them here. That is how it works. I know that's not how you learn it in school, but that is how recruiting teams do it. That is how managers do it. Once you get into the corporate world, they want you to pick a stack, and then I need to see this stuff. So this resume, gosh, probably won't make it a lot, but I will say you do at least have them here. Oh, no, except you said demonstrated ability to use. Why? No, just say used. You don't need to say I demonstrated the ability to perform locomotion to pick up a pencil. You just say picked up a pencil and used it to do X. So the fact that you actually have some of the keywords here means you'll probably have a better success than like 1 in 500. But I assume this is like a 75 to 100 application at best. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the area they're doing this is like a 1 to 20. But this is probably not going to be good because you don't really have it. And when you do have it, it's written weird. Like pioneered a leaderboard? What do you mean pioneered? Stop trying to make your resume fancy. All right. I know people say you need to brag. You need to show off. That's not what you need. You need to write it like a government form. You show off in the interview. The interview is where you say, I locomoted to the pencil to pick it up to pioneer a whatever. That's where you do that stuff. The interview, you stand out. Any resume that stands out during the resume process is going to get rejected like 90 times out of 100. So, or 99 times out of 100. So, I'm not a fan of this resume. The formatting's off a little bit. Again, the formatting actually is the least problematic. This is still legible. It can be better, but the bigger issue is the bullet points are not great, except for very bottom, and then you formatted them really weird. So, yeah, let's go to the next resume. And it's pronounced NetSuite. Okay, sweet. You should hit up people working for 23 on LinkedIn. I had to delete my own data from there. All right, I had to delete my own data from there. So no, and I also don't have jobs for them. I'm in a weird twilight state of I'm about to have a ton of work and also don't have it yet, which is kind of par the course for recruitment, which is you're not busy until you're absolutely slammed, and I'm in like around that. So I thought it was cool. I found out my history, but I deleted my data because I didn't just want them to sell it because that wasn't part of the agreement. So, you know, technically it was, but I'm in California and they have to delete my data. So I did it. I deleted the datas. All right, this next one has their full contact information. Boo, and they are director. Okay, I sincerely appreciate you taking my resume and provide invaluable feedback. I've been in the job search since spring 2004, before graduation with little success. My last interview was for this role, but what? But what? That's all they say. They get cuts out. They got cut out. Okay, I don't know actually what that was. That's upsetting. That ooh. All right, so director of portfolio management. What? I don't know what this is. This is very specific. All right, portfolio management. What the heck are you? They also put their full contact information, so I have to, fix that in a second. All right, United States. Let's reset this. Okay. Well, I guess is this the same? People need to be programs, projects, not finance. People need to stop assuming every recruiter knows every industry to a T. I have to search this up. Is this the same as a portfolio manager? As a director? I had my Skya exam yesterday. Definitely in the top 2 of Tough exams. Ugh. Dude, those, math exams are brutal. I know, the, I think this is the same portfolio manager. I know the actuary I have would complain about them so much because it's just so brutal. These are people that could math so hard, I can't even understand it. PM and portfolio director. Okay, cool. Thank you, Omni. But, ugh. All right. Okay, qualifications. So, here we are. Excel. Excel. I need to get a quieter keyboard. Word. Outlook. That's what I'm gonna spend it on when I get my paycheck next month, because that's when I finally hits my bank account. Takes forever. Placement I did in December is finally going to pay out next month. So Word, Excel, Outlook, just in general, Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office. I know that's the same, but whatever. So, I don't know what I want to spend my... Okay, I'm going to go for meetings now. Good luck. Spend your paychecks on Pokemon cards. Yeah, that is... I mean, that's... You put it into... I mean, stocks are cheap. If you have excess cash, now is the time to get, I guess, stocks. Because that's when you buy, is when the market's down and everything is down. But don't listen to me on stocks. That's not my... forte. Driver's license, eligibility. Let's do it. Budgeting. That's all I keep buying is rabbit holes. Fair. It's probably good to not buy. I mean, buy experiences, right? I think that's worth it. Go with your fiance to I don't know, the moon or something. Probably not the moon. But I mean, if you can go to the moon, that seems pretty cool. But it's... okay, portfolio director, portfolio manager, ideal candidate. Can I buy... Dude, I wish you could buy vacation days. I guess technically you could if they're paid, but that's in the EU, man. They got the good vacation days in the EU. 31 minimum. Portfolio, I cannot say this. My mind is gone. And yes, these headaches are finally gone because I figured out why I was getting sick. It was the stupid hair gel. Cross-functionally with sales and marketing teams. Portfolio management, I already did. These are a lot of words. Portfolio lead. This is not what I'm looking. Hello, Tanya. Portfolio manager. Oh my god. Okay, here it is. These are probably in nothing else. Leadership, source, interview, manage performance. Problem is this the same thing? I don't know. I kind of wish this person was in the chat. So, alright. See you, Omni. Asset manager, portfolio manager for Capital One, communication, leadership. Okay. I think this is correct. Manage reports, operational, interview, manage employee performance, high school diploma. Okay. So I'm going to look at one more just in case. One more good one. Okay. So you know what? This is the second time I've seen this. This is probably important, and this is how we do it. Did I have the right thing on? There we go. LHD HUD programs, maybe. Okay, so these are not exhausted, but this is still probably the same. But I can look at this. Portfolio Director Manager. All right, and let's see how many come up. About the same. Good. Now we can actually look at these keywords. Lep 2. Okay, yeah, that's barely important. All right. All right, so give me a second. This person doxed themselves, so I don't want them to, well, be doxxed. All right, they have their full name here. No, they have their phone number. Why did they put... They doxed everything else. That might not... Wait, no, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, they did not dox themselves. People put weird numbers here, and I keep thinking they've, like, doxed themselves, and they haven't. This is not a full contact. This is fake. All right, cool. They just put a real area code. That threw me for a loop. So what did they say? Unknown. Nope, 75. This is a resume review of a director of portfolio management, which I was told in chat is sort of the same as another type of program manager. In fact, let me read. Nope, badly. Lee messed up. What the hell was this called again? Portfolio manager. Okay, so portfolio is the same as director. Weirdly enough, I believe. All right, redo. This is a resume of a director of portfolio management, which I was told from my chat that this is the same essentially as portfolio manager. So this person wants to thank me. Well, I appreciate it. No worries. To review the resume and provide feedback. They have a 1:75 ratio. They've been on the job search since spring 2024 before graduation with little success. My last interview was for this role, but, and then everything cuts out. So I don't know what else you said after but it didn't parse. I can see nothing. So what we're going to be looking for as a portfolio manager or director of portfolio management is a lot, but not as much as you would think. So we're looking for Excel, Word, Outlook, CAM, CAPS, CPM. We want to see expenditure controls, maximizing income, collections, budgeting, portfolio management, product curation or category, cross-functional with sourcing, sales, and marketing teams, and leadership, along with what you've done in leadership and how you've managed multiple projects. So leading teams, interviewing, that kind of thing. So first off, this formatting is a nightmare. Don't have this much formatting, all right? I want this. This is what I want. This is peak formatting, all right? This should not all be bolded. There's so much here that it is actually hard for me to read it. And that is probably part of the reason you're having a 1:75. So, strategic, incentive, transformation, formula. Yeah, there's so much here, and not much of it I actually give a crap about. I'm sorry. So I think this could probably be deleted. The education could be moved to 3 lines max, and you have a... I don't know if you really need the BA if you have the MA, but you could keep it to 3 lines. So this already would shrink it up a lot. And this right here should not be bolded. This should be bolded. I don't actually even know if the MBA or MPA is important to put up there. Truthfully, that doesn't necessarily seem like something they really care a ton about. They care that you had your degree, but I don't know, maybe that's just my lack of knowledge in this direct industry. So let's go to the actual keywords. Monetary authority with budget and staff, fixing financial employment system, accurate election in place, economic growth rate. I don't see anything here. You have overdone it. Remember, the first person to see your resume is a recruiter with 75 other requisitions who they may or may not know about. So this doesn't work. I don't like this as a summary. But it is okay. Also, this shouldn't be bolded. Nothing here should be bolded. Stop bolding everything, please. Please stop bolding everything. All right. Portfolio head reporting to the manager, managing ordinary product portfolios, and led enterprise office things within their leadership. This is okay. I want a little bit more, but this is not a bad summary. Let's see. But again, I'm not seeing product curations, expenditure control, maximizing income. I'm not seeing how you did this stuff, right? Improved price traceable with new KPI customer. Yeah, again, this is meaningless. You wrote this for the wrong audience, right? Like, I don't know if I need to go further because I know why this isn't working. Is you wrote this for a highly technical manager, but the first person is not going to be the manager. It's also possible that highly technical manager still may not know what you're talking about because the slang can change. Sometimes when you've been in a company for a while, the terminology of words changes, the essential slang. What used to mean A now means B. And I have seen very good managers who people love miss things like that because the terminology has changed. This is what I want. I didn't see a single one of these. I didn't see Excel. I didn't see Word. I didn't see Outlook. I don't think I saw expenditure control. I didn't see maximizing income. I might have actually seen that one. That might be the only one. I didn't see cross-functional. I didn't see how you led teams. I just said that you led teams. I didn't see how you managed multiple projects and what the size was. I didn't see product curation or collections or budgeting. Those are what they're going to be looking for. That was on the job description. If it's not on the job description, it largely doesn't matter, all right? You need to look for a bunch of jobs that you match and then write down their common keywords, which is how you get this stuff, and then make your entire resume based on it and use that to apply to a mass amount of jobs. This, you are acting like I know what you're doing. You're acting like you're in a meeting trying to showcase how cool you are. And unfortunately, that is not how you get a job. That you can say this stuff in the interview, but it's not going to work for the resume. And I don't need to go past it. So, yeah, it's not going to fly because I don't see this stuff. Do I even see Excel? You know how many of them had Excel? So many. Yeah, there's no Excel. Oh, there it is at the very bottom, which doesn't matter. Yeah, it needs to be in a bullet point. So, this is how I want it, all right? Remember, these are your keys to getting a job. If you don't have this, you ain't getting through. That's unfortunately the case. Now, you may find slightly different keys, and that's okay, but I can tell based on this, you didn't find the keywords in the first place. So please, for everybody, find the keywords for your jobs. Find 10 to 15 jobs, all right? This will be the part where it takes some time. Take about 15, 35, 45 minutes, take a bunch of jobs, see which are the common terminologies, the ones that keep getting, that you keep seeing, those are important. But this stuff isn't important. Most of this isn't. I don't know if I saw a single EPMO suit or PM or CBLMS. I saw CAM caps and CPEM, but I haven't seen this. So, yeah, that's unfortunately the case. I don't think you have the right keywords for this. Or even unless I saw the entirely different keywords, but based on your ratio, I think you're missing the keywords, and this is hard to read. So simplify the formatting, find the keywords, put it in with those keywords. Let's move to the next resume. So the job market is still bad, but not worse than quarter four. Yeah, I mean, it's not worse than quarter four. Quarter four is always the worst. It's just how it is. Just based on its chaos. That's kind of unfortunately how it is quarter four is always going to be the worst of the year. Which is why it was especially bad in late 2022, is because that's when it kind of crashed in the first place. So, but yeah, how do you see quarter two shaping up? Not good. I think worse with declining. Yeah, I agree with you, is essentially it's not good. I don't think the job market is good. I don't think it's getting better. There's too many uncertainties. Honestly, what it really seems like is because of all the tariffs is the U.S. created good job markets outside the United States because now people are not buying. Like the defense industry, people are not buying their planes. Canada is blacklisting our products. You know, trade partners are partners because we both make money. And I don't, that's not even political. It's just, this is bad for the economy. And that's unfortunately it. And that's going to be way worse. And it's going to be tougher to find a job because there's going to be all the people from the government that quit or got fired, all the people that are from different layoffs because now products are not getting built. I think we're in for a lot rougher, and I think it's going to get way worse. And then you'll probably, my guess is you will see the news start commenting on it in Q4 because that's when everybody is really going to sort of realize it. Because, again, Q4 is always going to be the roughest part of the year for recruiting in general. And it's not like people don't hire. It's just they don't hire in the volume across as every industry. So that's what I believe is going to happen. And I want to be very clear. I hope I'm wrong. I make more money in a better economy. The better the economy is doing, the more people are hiring, the more money I stand to make. So I actively want to be wrong. I want to be completely wrong. I just don't. I don't think I am, unfortunately. All right, there we go. This person is a John Doe. Ugh, people are starting to use my format. I'm loving it. All right, we have an ad in 4 minutes, so I'm gonna go down and get some water, and I'll start then. And then right now we're gonna give Bear some pets. Come on, Bear. Hi. Don't roll away out of the camera. I can't. Okay, you rolling on the thing. Oh, you good boy. Yes. Okay. It's very hard for me to pet you from this angle. Why is your ear so floppy? They've been all out and floppy today. There you go, good boy. So if I start applying now with my resume and it's good now, how long should I take optimally to find a new job in tech? What is your experience level? I forgot. But the average is like 6 months. And I don't remember your tech stack because that's all different. You got to tell me again. Remember, once a resume's gone, it's out of my mind. That's how I keep track of all this stuff. And yes, I will tell Bear that Pretzel said hi to you. So just like a very quick overview of what you are again, because I don't remember. I was solutions architect. I think I need more than just that. Data engineer. Oh, right. I'm gonna guess you were in Canada, right? I don't know the Canadian market as much. Probably 3 to 4 months, depending if you do maybe it's yeah. I don't know the Canadian market as much. I think maybe 3 months is average once you have it right. The U.S. again, I don't know how that works for the visa stuff, but at least for Canadian stuff, maybe 3 to 4 months. If we got your resume right, once it's actually correct, I think it's going to take maybe about 3 to 4 months because, like, you apply today, it's going to take them a week to schedule an interview, and then a week maybe for the next interview, and then the offer letter on the 3rd, and that means assuming you get every interview, which realistically you probably won't, because it is a volume game, so maybe it takes like you get the interview of about a month and a half, then it takes another couple of weeks to get in, do the contracts, all that stuff, and then you start again. So probably I would say to get an offer letter 2 to 3 months once you start using this. But again, I don't know outside of the US, my market knowledge can sometimes be a little less, so that's kind of the issue. In fact, let's data engineer. Let me look in Canada real quick and how crowded it is. Because if you apply to stuff that is fresh, remember, you want to apply, the fresher it is, the better your chances. So you want to go here, and you want to go to most recent. And then, let's see. So senior data engineer has, for easy apply, okay, we can't count easy apply. 5 people in that. Let's do something that is a day old. Yeah, it seems competitive, but not crazy competitive if you just Yeah, because there's 23 hours ago. We do a day ago. It's 100 a day ago. It's 100. If you start applying to stuff in the first 24 hours, I think you're going to start getting a lot of interviews. Because remember, a lot of this is just crowded. Easy apply doesn't count. But like lead data engineer, you stand better chances. Weirdly enough, I don't remember if you had the lead, but regular data engineer 1 to 50. Yeah, so I think maybe 3 to 4 months before you get an offer. That's my guess. Again, things can get a little tough outside of the U.S. And it's, but I would guess about 3 to 4 months is average. You should be getting it before quarter four, which is good because quarter four is the worst time to search for a job. So. All right, I'm gonna get water. I will be right back. And I think Bear needs to go out, so give me like 2 or 3 minutes. Come on, sir. You need to go out the restroom. Go. Yes, you. Go, go, go. Come on. Get your old man bones up. Time to go to the restroom. You need to. All right. Coming back. Sorry about that. Bear saw a squirrel and went berserk. So, bear saw a squirrel and it took a while. How about getting an interview callback? About a week. Because if it passes the recruiter screen, they'll send it to the manager, and then it goes back to the recruiter, but about a week. Because a lot of the times, recruiters will post a job and then not check it back for another couple of days. But that's really going to depend on the individual recruiter. So. But yeah, it'll be about a week. It's about a week for every step of the process. On average. Let's see. So cloud, DevOps, pipelines. I have not. Okay, let's look at more. This doesn't seem all of that. All right. Man, they want a lot of experience for this. Okay. Hi, Bear. Are you back? Did you have a good time borking at a squirrel? You're a very friendly dog, but not to squirrels. Squirrels are not on your friend list, apparently. So, strong relation, audience persona, adapting technology, current IT trends, cloud computing. Yeah, got the same. All right, solutions architect. I feel like I've only done this once. What you bring to the... This is like, all of these ones have been things I need to look up. There's like, except for the back-end engineer. So, ETL, SQL, data warehousing. It's always important to have that word. Data modeling. Here it is. Gather and translate to concrete solutions. This is going to be critical. But yeah, it's usually about a week for every part of the process in the recruitment stage, because like the recruiter posts this job whenever they posted this. When did they post this? 2 weeks ago, right? So it'll take them like a day or two to let it get applicants, and then they'll go back to it. They'll start dispositioning it. Maybe sometimes they'll get distracted from a call. Maybe a manager will pull them in for an important part. They then send those resumes that succeeded to the manager, or alternatively, will start scheduling a pre-screen themselves, which maybe they send through their own team members, which takes another day or two. And then in about 5 business days after you applied, bada bing, bada boom, that's when you get your first part of the interview. But essentially about 5 business days from everything. But yeah, so if you're not hearing anything back in about, I'd say 2 weeks from your apps, there's a problem. But you really want to be doing it early, because remember, if you're number 75, they may not even get to you. So, how is this person having trouble with these? This seems like a very... All right, so we need a ton of stuff. We have cloud. These are going to be slightly different. SAP. This is a problem. These are going to be slightly different from each other, these keywords, but we do want cloud for sure. I know cloud. DevOps I may not actually want. PaaS. Did I not put that? I think I actually was supposed to put that. PaaS. Certificate. Cloud infrastructure. All right, I think we're good. These are going to be a lot of the stuff we want. DevOps can be different, but it's definitely going to be cloud. Cloud is ideal. Pre-sales in return. Oh my gosh, okay. Can you please give me a good job description? In return, to be successful, communication ability to operate independently, ownership. Okay, give me like one more just to double check. Okay, AI, magic schools. No. They even get me sometimes. AI, maybe. AI is not always necessary, but it might be. Travel, AI tools. Yeah, these are all different. This is going to be very tech stack dependent. And that's unfortunate. Is there anything here? You know, these are all. But I do need architectural design. Architecture is going to be huge. Which I have twice. Is there anything else I can add? And then multitask. Should always have something about multitasking. Did you see that Riot decided to rip off Belotro? Riot did Belotro? No, I didn't. I did not. I actually have a former roommate who does the voice for one of the Valorant characters. So. But yeah, I did not know. The League minigame is Belotro. Why can't I not say Belotro? Why? I did not know that. That's kind of neat. And does make sense that they would copy it. I was overemployed for 4 months. I do not advertise this, but I also do not hide. If you were to look at the monthly cap, should I hide this? Okay. This is a resume review of a solutions architect. So, the problem with solutions architect positions that I found is they all kind of wanted a little bit of different stuff. The main keywords I found were cloud, architecture, gather technical business requirements into concrete solutions, and that was kind of it for most of them. So there's going to be a bunch of different keywords. This person said they were overemployed for a little bit, and what did they say? They do not advertise this, but also do not hide it. Is it hurting them? Potentially. Depends on when you did it, though, because it doesn't seem... I can't see it, at least from here. February 2002. Yeah, I mean, I don't even see where it is. Because August to current, then this is to August, and this is from September to Feb. So I don't actually see it. The resume formatting is great. Let's see. Do we want your degree? If you have a degree, you should still put it up here. But these are good. And you have a ratio of 1 to 50, which is not bad. It's not great, again, but not bad. For an actual architect, it's like a C-. So let's see what we can do to sort of improve this. But I do like the formatting already. I do wish I had a little bit of a... like if you're bachelor's kind of thing. So, cloud architect. And also, this is why this formatting is great, is look how easy to read this is. This is so easy to read, is that even though there's a lot of stuff, I can see it. So, so first off, everything should be past tense here. I know that sounds weird. Even if you're still with the company, past tense is always the best. I worked closely with various cross-functional development teams to empower developers. My word recall is bad today. To empower developers to publish resilient, scalable, secure, and cost-efficient products. So I would like a little bit more here, right? I would say just worked with a cross-functional development team to publish scalable, maybe architecture or something, if that works, for the company's private and public cloud, and then put if it's AWS or Azure, which I assume it's Azure environments. Azure BD, Azure train developers on consumption patterns with implemented support. I'm assuming a lot of these is probably not, you don't need all of these. Power BI is okay, but again, I'm not guaranteeing that these keywords are the right ones because it's going to really depend, but all I need to see is cloud, which I do see in spades, but I want to see architecture, right? Architecture is kind of big. How often do we have architecture? I don't see architecture in here at all. That's actually not good. You need architecture. And then I need to see how you multitask, which maybe you have FinTech, FinOps, API, Azure Opportunities. That's okay. Designed. And see, here's the problem with this one, right? Saving $55K in operating expenses, depending on the company, can be very impressive or very unimpressive. And I don't know which. And you didn't tell me. Because what I am missing here, I think you have a lot of the good keywords, but I am missing architected. And I would like something within the first 3 that says how many things you worked on, right? Like I was working on concurrently 5 different projects for 7 different things, which were each had a budget of X and Y, that kind of thing. I want to know that you can multitask, and I am missing something about you basically bringing this to like stakeholders and technical people, the non-technical people. But Python is shell, enter and develop Python, yeah. So again, this is not bad, and I think the fact that you're getting a 1 to 50 is why, but I want to make sure you can get even better. So, and I would say if you have to bring up the fact that you're overemployed, try not to. Managers, some managers don't care, but the ones that do care, it could be a yellow flag to them. But overall, okay resume. Formatting's fine. I just need a little bit more in the bullet points, and ironically, a teeny bit less of some stuff. So I didn't see Power BI or Snowflake or SysSense, but I did see maybe .NET, and I'd like to see the word architecture, how you multitask, maybe ETL, and then how, like data warehousing, and how you gather technical and business requirements and do concrete solutions. Because again, you are going to be like the subject matter expert. Someone's going to be like, hey man, I don't know what this does, and you can't just say you gotta floop the blah 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 blah. They're gonna go, oh. You want to make sure you say, yeah, what you gotta do is X, Y, which will lead to Z. So again, not bad. I can see this getting interviews, and in fact it's 1 to 50 it does. And that's it for these resume review video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And join me Monday, Wednesday, Friday on my live stream if you need more help. I go over stuff like, interview tips and that kind of stuff. It's just hard to condense that to the YouTube videos. And I also do tell you how to find the keywords there. So I will see you all next video. Yeah. Yes, Pretzel. Here's your friend Gecko. I don't know. She's Thai. I don't know the character's name. I think it's a newer release one. She put it on Facebook a while ago, but it's a lot. So if there's a Thai character, is it Waylay? It might be Waylay. She was living in our guest bedroom for a bit while I think I heard her record those lines actually. Waylay, Valorant. Yeah, I think she's Waylay. I hope I didn't. No, she put that on Facebook. That's not an NDA. Yep, that's her. She is Waylay. She was the person that lived in the room down there for a bit at our house. Yeah, I actually heard her a little bit do the lines, and me and my partner thought it was for like a Call of Duty something. We didn't know it was for that because she couldn't tell us then. She didn't. I want to be clear. She did not tell us anything about the role until that, so she did not break the NDA. But yes, that is it. Mo is her name. Rodovanich. So, and yes, she is currently staying in Thai for a bit. She might go back here. She's really cool. She was an awesome roommate. So yes, that was who it is. So. But yeah, I had no idea it was Valorant until I saw the Facebook post about it, and then I went, "Whoa, she's in Valorant!" So yes, I know that voice actor who does Waylay, which again I don't actually play Valorant. So what is her abilities? She does stuff cool. Cluster of light, hindering people, burst of speed, vulnerable and teleporting. Okay, that's neat. Cool. But yes, that is her. I mean, maybe if she comes back again to visit, I could have her on a stream. So. And she is way more popular than me. So. She dashes in and nopes out and slows people. That's the fun one. I like the one where it's just like... So yeah, that is it. That's neat. That is who it is, Waylay. Now I can actually say who the character is, because I stopped playing League and then never really got into Valorant, so watch. If she comes back in a bit, which she may, she's cool. Like I can probably have her go on. You can ask her questions. Also, yeah, Ryan blatantly copied Velotro. I believe it. I mean, they did TFT. Technically, League of Legends is Dota, but it's a genre, right? Like, now it's a genre. Like, once it's a genre, it's kind of open up. What, Riot's Bulultro? I do want to look at what this is. How different is it than that? No, I don't want ads. Okay, I can't look this up. People are gonna have stuff. Sorry. Like, is it exactly the same, or is there any fundamental differences? Like, the differences between TFT and Battle Chess, there are differences, but I don't know enough about it. And I just saw a post on Lee Subreddit saying that they can't stand Bulultro's visuals. I like that. I think it's great and simple. I also think it's really funny that the dev behind Bulultro didn't play their own game until it was almost ready, and they're like, oh, this is actually fun. I think Bulultro has great visuals. I think it's very simplistic, which is great for what it is. So, those people are wrong. Okay, let's go to the next resume. What is the next resume? This is the story of a girl. Full stack web dev. Okay, this person didn't give me anything besides software engineer. There's always going to be one. I tried the cryptid mod. Chaotic. What is the cryptid mod? Again, like, I've been trying to find a different game for a bit, and I am so both busy and, like, not. So I haven't been a lot on games. There was a couple of games I wanted, but the game I'm really going to dig into is going to be the Warhammer Rogue Trader one. When the next DLC comes out, I'm going to be playing that. There's going to be like 70 hours over 2 days. They say it's different. Cryptid mod is Bulultro mod, and it's an unintentionally unbalanced. Those are the greatest games. All right. I also started 9 Souls yesterday. How is 9 Souls? I need new games to play right now. So, because, like, I'm going to have a little bit more time in theory. Or not. It's so weird. Oh. Good stretch, Bear. Now Bear is in his favorite spot, under the bed. I don't know why. Hand drawn. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm also looking for Monster Train 2. Like, there's so many games that are coming out, but they're not out yet, and that's the part that is upsetting me. All right, this is a software engineer, and that's all I have. Okay. I mean, I don't know. This is a problem with software. I don't know which it is going to be. So, should I have the opening up here, or should I do this without the tool? Let's try it without the tool, because I feel like it's not going to make a lot of sense. Souls-like Metrovania. All right, I'll look up 9 Souls in a bit. I'm not huge into Metrovania or Souls-like. They're great games, just not always for me. I really like turn-based ones, because I'm old. So, this is a resume review of a software engineer. What kind of software engineer, you can ask? I have no idea. I don't know. They did not tell me. Their ratio is 150 to 1, which is very bad. That's 150 applications to 1 interview. They did not give me any additional information besides that. They did not tell me what type of software engineer, which is a very important part, which might be the actual problem. And they also submitted this as a PNG, which is not good. You want a PDF or Word doc. JPEGs may not parse in an ATS. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's iffy. So, that's all I got on this one. Let's dig in to see if I can find anything. But before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need more help, like how to find the keywords that should be here, which will hopefully be in the next one, come on my live stream. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. PST. The link is down below on twitch.com. Twitch.headlesstv, whatever. The link is down below. Y'all can just copy that. And I give a lot more help, and this is where I do the resume reviews live, that I don't put everything into YouTube. So, the biggest problem with this is a lot. So, there's so much wrong here. Okay, so, on a principle level, when you are looking for a software engineer position, you need to specify if you are front-end, if you are back-end, if you are full stack. And if you are back-end, you need to pick either Java, Python, or C, or maybe there's a couple of others, but you need to pick. And the problem with that is the resume that gets the Java engineer resume, the Java back-end resume, that gets you Java engineer positions, is not going to get you Python positions, is not going to get you full stack, is not going to get you front end. So you need to specify, all right? I know you did internships and everything else, but I need you to write your resume like that. And you can have 2 or 3 different resumes. That's okay. One for full stack, one for Java backend, one for Python backend. That's fine. So this doesn't have any of that. Also, you just graduated. I absolutely need your education up top. This should be up top. People can barely even see it because I can barely scroll down this far. But yes, you need your education up top. Based on what I see here, it should be 2 to 3 lines. You can keep the dean's list as the 3rd line, but, 4.0 GPA is really good, but you need it in 2 lines at the top. None of this should be bolded. Also, I need to know what you are. All I see here is AWS, SQL, that's good. Python, okay. Azure, okay. And those are the keywords I'd be looking for Python dev. So I'm assuming maybe you're a Python dev. Kibana, I don't care about those. Docker, again, Python. Kubernetes, again, Python. Let me look at my list real quick. This reads like a Python. Kubernetes, no. Yeah, Kubernetes is good for this. This reads sort of like a Python. The problem is if you're applying to non-Python jobs, you're not going to get it. So these are the Python keywords, right? And I see some of them. And then you have this. I don't care about this. Stop this. No. I know I had this for a bit, and I've changed my mind on it. If your keywords are not in a bullet point, they do not matter. So I like AWS. I like SQL. I need more Python here a little bit. Like I'd prefer Python in the first one. And it seems like you're applying for Python jobs, which is actually okay because you kind of got the stack, but you're not going to get it if you don't apply to Python. So if you specifically apply to Python positions, you might be good with this resume. Docker, which is what we want. ML, BigQuery, Vagrant. It's also hard to read because there's so much bolding and it's in a JPEG. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you didn't keyword this enough for Python. This is semi-Python keyworded. Projects, cloud, yeah, there's too much here. So this is why these are not good. And again, I tried this at first as an experiment and I didn't like it. Is if a keyword is not here, it doesn't count. If a keyword is not here, it doesn't count. This right down here, which I don't even know if people can see, doesn't count. They need to be here. I need to see the what it is, how you used it, and why you used it. So the reason you're getting 150 is because this is semi-keyworded for Python, and I assume you're applying to everything. But even if it is coded for Python, it doesn't fully read like it because there's a lot of extraneous stuff here, right? Like you have Apache, Spark, you have SQS, you have Apache Airflow. You have both AWS and Azure, which is okay. We have S3, Lambda, Phoenix test suits. Those are all not, so they may actually miss the Python. And then we go down here. We don't really need Elastic or Loggia or Kibana. We don't need most of this stuff. Docker is good. So yeah, because like Kafka and that kind of stuff I think is better for Java backend. You need to pick, right? I want you to start looking at specifically Python roles. Look at Python roles because it looks like you have the stack and tweak it towards that, okay? These are so far the keywords for Python roles. Maybe you'll find 1 or 2 more, but if it's not here, it's largely not important, which is your problem. Also, make sure you apply early. How an ATS actually works is it sorts people on a first-come, first-served basis. The faster you are to apply, the better your chances. So don't keep remaking your resume. So fix the formatting, fix the keywords, and you're going to have a better chance than 150 to 1. So let's go to the next resume. Let's see. It's good. It's hand-drawn. Just look up 9 Souls. Okay. I already saw it. I'll look that up. I like hand-drawn games. This one. What is this? Oh, yeah. That's gorgeous looking. That's absolutely pretty. Yeah. That's very pretty looking. I can see why. Okay. What is next? My hair care product was giving me headaches. That was why I had to keep shutting down and stopping. Have you ever considered becoming a pastor and starting an OnlyFans? You can name it Home. PG-13, my mod. We keep it PG-13. Oh, thank you, Uber Noob. First time chatting, and that's what you first time chatted with. We're trying to keep it PG. Which part of that is not PG-13? Probably the second part. But yeah, it's PG-13. I don't want anybody to say anything, and then people find the chat, and then they get in trouble. That was on the verge. That was very close to the line. So, Headless, do you also review resumes and how well they would do against the ATS? It was funny. I will admit it. It was funny. So, Uber, that's not how ATSs work. At all. While there are AI ATSs and they do exist, they're in such a small amount of the market that it's largely not worth it to worry about them. The way ATSs actually sort you is first come, first serve. That's it. First come, first serve. Workday, Taleo, ADP have worked on those. First come, first serve is the default setting. And while they do have some, like, you can add AI to that, most companies don't, actually. Because A, it costs more, and B, the recruiters don't even use it half the time. So, they don't do well against the ATS because it's how well you do against the recruiter, which is a very, very, very common error that a lot of people make in making their resumes or understanding how it is. So, stretched. But yeah, that's why you cannot necessarily review against the ATS, because that doesn't really work. There's so much misinformation about how an ATS actually works. Like, it's literally, I want you to think of the ATS like a file cabinet. Now, 2 years from now, right? Maybe that changed. Maybe AI is going to be way more prevalent. But for now, that's not how it is. So do you think a good resume is going to do worse off applying a few days later, or even a day later, versus a resume that's mid applying with the first? Yes, actually I do. I actually think a good resume that applies late will do worse than a mid resume that applies in the first 24 hours. It's if they don't see you, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter how gorgeous this is, how great this is, how many keywords this is. If a recruiter finds the amount of candidates to fill up their interview schedule, they will, and they'll stop. Yeah, most people have a wrong idea of ATS. And like I said, AI ATSs do exist, but they're not a large amount of the market share yet. Maybe 2 years from now, it's going to be a different story, right? But right now, you don't have to worry about them. Probably for the next 9 months, you at least don't have to worry about that. That is not how it works for the vast majority of companies, unless you're applying for an AI company. If you're applying for an AI company, then, you know. And what do you consider pretty much late? Past 1 day, over? I mean, it depends, but it's like, look at this one, right? Solutions Architect. This has 98 people clicked apply. You might be okay to apply to this one. Because also when you, let me just make sure I'm not going to dox myself. When you clicked apply, I know that's me. Let's see if I click apply. I just want to make sure I'm not doxing myself. Okay, cool. So, how this actually works, right? And this is why there we go. So, when you click apply, this is not 89 people that applied to the job. This is 98 people that click this button. Because once you're here, right, this is the job, you then need to click this button. So then you go to here. And that means you have to make an account. So a lot of people don't do that. So realistically, for this Solutions Architect job, it was reposted 2 weeks ago. You could probably safely do it because a lot of people don't do it. Like, realistically, it's a third. But the problem with that is maybe they only got 20 resumes, right? Let's say they only got 20 resumes that did apply and filled out all the information. If they find what they need in the first 10 resumes, they're not going to keep looking. Now, realistically, that's not usually the case. Honestly, it's about 1 in 10 resumes that actually apply are qualified, give or take. Like, it's seriously low. But that is, you know, again, maybe they got lucky and got 3 people right off the bat that they need. Because if you fill up the manager's schedule or you fill up your own schedule, you're not going to keep going. Because remember, like, this one, financial group, right? Okay, let's go to jobs. This company has... Can I not... Okay. Where do I go to all of them? But they have more jobs than just that. There's probably one recruiter is working on all 35 of these jobs. So, that one recruiter is not going to waste more time than they need to. I've heard ATS scores your resume. No, they don't. Please don't. That's a very popular myth. Very, very popular myth that is not the case. That's not how ATSs work. Or, sorry, let me be clear. It's not how the vast majority of ATSs work. In recruiting in general, you will never get a one-size-fits-all solution. There will always be counters and exceptions to every single rule. The ones I say, the ones I don't say. But what I'm trying to teach people is the vast majority of them don't. They don't score your resume. It's literally just first come, first serve. I will dig more into a resume after this break. Let me dig into what an ATS is a little bit more, and how it's useful and that kind of stuff. I have to use the restroom in a second, and we're gonna have an ad. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna go and I'll try to think of a way to describe this to you, because it is very important to know the process behind which an ATS actually works. So I will be right back. All right. So yes, I know everybody says that, and they're almost all wrong. I think ATS is real, but not tech-wise. It's that recruiters are looking for certain words because they have no experience in the job postings field, so that all they can refer to, yes, that is it. Therefore, they essentially act like a robot ATS, which would just look for keywords. That is accurate. So this is something that Omni and a couple of other people have heard a ton, but I think it's important because we have new people. I want to ask you a question, Uber and Pretzel. How many open positions do you think a recruiter has? We're talking specifically for internal recruiters, not for agency third party. We're talking for internal, like the recruiter for let's go with this Maria, right? Let's assume this is Maria, although she's the manager, not the necessary recruiter. But assuming she was the recruiter, how many positions do you think she's working on at the same time? And alternatively, ask how many positions I worked on when I was an internal. And I'll give you all a second to do that. Boop, 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 boop. All right, this person just said full stack web dev in all caps. That is extra, but I appreciate it. All right, do I have this? Yes, I do. At least 20 to 30 a time, I'd guess, for a mid-sized company, depending on company size. Yeah, I would say it would depend on company size, but typically the smaller companies are not going to have recruiters necessary. It's going to be the internal manager themselves that do it, or an HR person that's a very small part of their job. But those were good. Those were very good to my hypothetical. So the answer is, on average, a recruiter that is internal for any size company that is above maybe 100 people will have 35 to 75 requisitions at the same time. Same time. And that's not like per year, that's per month. They will have an average of that, and even if they fill them, that's going to be about it. So when I was at Agilent, I had 35 active requisitions at the same time. Those requisitions were in the IT space, the medical space, oligonucleotide scientist space, data management space, data managers, sales, lab techs, other types of scientists, a couple of different IT ones, and more HR, managers, and more. Those were all at the same time. I had a pretty high fill ratio, but even when I filled them, I'd have between 35 to 50 requisitions at the same time. And like Pretzel said, if you think I know detailed enough oligonucleotide scientists to determine what an oligonucleotide scientist is, you're wrong. What I do, and I even told the managers that, I'm like, look, these are all the recs I have. This is why I'm good, is not because I know this industry intimately, because I didn't. That was the first time I had it. It's because I know how to ask the right questions of the hiring manager to get the right keywords. So that is how recruiters do that, and hopefully if they have the time and they're good, because sometimes even a good recruiter just doesn't have time, they will get those keywords and then look for those to move them forward. And at PPG, I had 75 requisitions, and I broke records for the amount of fills in the area. So this is not like Lee did not fill his requisitions and that's why he had a backlog. This was Lee was crushing it and had an average of 35 to 75 at his previous jobs. And that is why the keywords are important. But what an ATS is it literally just is a file cabinet for each of those jobs. So let's say hypothetically, let's do CVS, right? Let's do CVS. So the recruiter for this is probably working on the networks relations manager and a care planner behavioral health, and probably about 100 other requisitions. When you apply to this one, it saves where you were, your questions you put, and your resume under this position in the order you applied. So that then when the recruiter looks between these two positions, they can check out all the resumes that apply to it. So that is what an actual ATS does. And that is what it is for. So, does that make sense? And that's why this whole AI screening and everything is usually done by career coaches that are trying to take your money, or candidates that are upset and they don't know about the process. But that is what an ATS does, is there's no singular way for a person to keep track of all the resumes here. So the ATS keeps track of them. So they click and they go, okay, here. And they're typically checked by requisition number, which is an internal identification number, so you can find them. So that is what an ATS does. Obviously, when you get to companies that are under 100 people, it gets a little weird because they may not have a dedicated recruiter or an ATS, but yeah. So a snapshot of a person applying for a rec number. Correct. That is actually it. Now, some of them have questions you can have. So, like, are you able to work in the United States without sponsorship? Some of those are knockout questions. Those do exist, but those are not an AI scanning for it. It's usually yes, no, or do you have 8 years of experience? If not, then it's a rejection. And the recruiter would reject you for that anyway. So that's usually the case of what it is. So knockout questions do exist, but they're not like scanning your whole resume. They're just like, did you answer no to a question we needed you to answer yes to? That's it. Do companies using Workday see to do for increase in applicants? Yeah. Any position where you have to fill out an account to make it is going to cause a drop in applicants. That's just an unfortunate fact. Then your next question is like, well, why do they use it? And the answer is it's more of an HR tool than a recruiting tool. Really, Workday is not an ATS. It is a ATS/human resource information system hybrid, and it's primarily used for HR. So typically when you're onboarded to a company, not unfortunate for the job seeker. I mean, you'll have to fill out like 45 minutes. Yeah. It's bad for talent attraction, but it's once you actually get in and you get hired, it's way faster. So I prefer pure ATSs because they make my job as a recruiter easier. But everybody is basically going with hybrid systems right now, unfortunately. So, and they have been for years. There we go. So it's the notion of trying to beat the ATS. Yes, correct. It's not like, I will give you an example that I think is very important, is everybody tries to beat the game and tries to cheat the game, but nobody actually plays the game. Like, nobody actually does what we want them to do. Like 90% of resumes, I'm seriously saying, like the vast majority of them have nothing we need. They're mostly badly constructed. It's very rare you see a great resume. Like, it's very rare you see a resume that even has the keywords that you're looking for. So, like this is common. The ones I show on here are mostly common, and there's a reason I say you see like 1 in 50, 1 in 75. But the ones that are actually like 1 in 20 are so rare to find because they're not trying to beat the system. They're actually playing the game. And like every recruiter is like, we don't need you to beat the system. Just play the game. Nobody's playing the game. Everybody's playing hockey when we're playing basketball and nobody wants to play basketball with us. So, but yes, beating the ATS is a misconception. All right, let's do this resume. This is a resume review of a full stack web developer. What is their ratio? I don't know. They did not say. They did not give me anything else beyond just this. So this is all I have. But at least they did say full stack because that means I can give you the keywords. Which also, if you notice the difference between the Python dev and this, these are going to be different keywords. Yeah, some of them are the same, but there's enough differences that you're going to need a different resume. So TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, SQL, React, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, and a bonus would be any extra languages such as Python, C, Java, and Git, although those last are not necessarily as required. So, let's look at this. Why is this formatting? I hate it. Please use this formatting. I do not like this formatting. It's not the worst, but also, you just graduated. Wait, no, you're looking for an internship? Okay, I don't know if you're looking for an internship or a full-time position, because I will say specifically, full-time positions and internships are going to require different resumes. What will get you a internship is not necessarily going to get you a full-time job and vice versa. So I'm going to assume this is a full-time job? Maybe. Let's just pretend it is. But yeah, so first off, what do you mean chief design officer? Why would you put chief design officer? Let it create okay, so the formatting on this is way off. Every bullet point should be its own little line. You should not have a nested bullet points. So this should be like realistically 3 or 4 bullet points. I'm not seeing any of the keywords I would need. I'm not seeing TypeScript. I'm not seeing JavaScript. Again, here, doesn't count, needs to be here. I do not count them if they're here. Because recruiters get burned by that. They say, oh, they have them here. They send it to the manager rejects them. Managers, they want them to see how you used them. Don't see anything, don't see anything. Don't see anything, don't see anything, don't see anything. Don't see anything, don't see anything, don't see anything. Next.js, actually did see something. Also, this should be up top. For an internship, I even don't see enough stuff. Yeah, I don't know why this is a problem for me to review, is just there's not really anything here. There's no keywords. I don't know if this is an intern that you're looking for. I'm going to assume maybe. Let's look at it from an intern lens, which is just going to be a general tech stack, which I still don't see. and just how to work together, talking with customers, yeah, I don't see it. This would not fly. This resume needs to be essentially redone from the ground up. There's nothing here that is relatively salvageable. The keywords are not giving me actual keywords that I need. You don't show how you worked well with others, which would be an internship, and for a full-time, there's just nothing on the stack. So I don't see this passing, especially because you have a chief design officer and then you're applying to an internship. Don't do that. Just say like freelance or whatever, right? Like this is weird going from an intern to a chief design to an intern. Now, admittedly, this is in India. Maybe how they review resumes in India is different than how they review it in the United States. That is entirely possible. But I do not think this would succeed in the United States. Let's go to the next resume. Re-reviewed after your feedback. Should I resubmit? Yes, resubmit it. And then use the skip function, which you should have enough to do once you get it. So, but after you make the changes. So your agent's information definitely cleared up some misconceptions. Yeah. And again, here's the biggest issue I think fundamentally with giving advice like this is, like I said before, there is no 100% or one-size-fits-all solution. And there are ATS AIs out there. They're just not a lot of them. So you're going to say there, if I ever said there are no AI ATSs, that's wrong. But what I can say is there's not enough of them in volume that you have to worry about them. And that does not spread around, right? It's a problem of a lie spreads around the world before the truth goes across the room. So... And a lot of these places have invested interest in you being panicky, so you buy their services, which is why I do this for free. I don't want people to pay. I don't want, like, I look, if you want to donate, I'm okay with that, but I don't want to charge people that don't have a job. It just seems sketch, you know? So, but they have a vested interest in it. Like, if you talk to a lot of recruiters, they'll be like, no, that's not how that works. I've known recruiters that even though they had an ATS, they did it by pen and paper and printing stuff out. So, yeah, it's the advent of AI ATSs are vastly overblown. They exist, but, you know, and that honestly goes with every bit of my advice, Uber, is it's true it's a one size fits most, but it will never be a one size fits all. And that's where you get a lot of conflicting information in recruiting. It's like, you should do X, but you should do Y. You should do Z, but then you should do X. Seems like a factor to be selected or keywords timing. What about key phrases? They're key phrases and keywords are kind of the same, really. But yeah, this is the problem with giving into the vacuum, is that, let's say the advice I give to Pretzel may be correct in Pretzel's market, but it may not be correct in your market. And anything can change the advice, such as your years of experience, how long you've been, your area, your geographic location, the time of the year potentially. There's 1,000 different factors, which is why you kind of have to do it holistically, which I really hate saying the word holistically, because usually people are trying to sell you something, but I think in this case it's accurate. So that's why you say like, yeah, this works in X situation, but then it doesn't work in your situation. So and you could have like what if it's not even like, you know, your resume, right? Like you have a fantastic resume, but you apply late to a job and then there are 200 people ahead of you and they're never even going to get to your resume, right? Like that means it's not the resume issue, but the candidate thinks it's a resume issue when really it's a timing issue. But I mean, kind of phrases, now that I'm thinking about it, are more qualifications. But yeah, the keywords, key phrases, they're the same thing. And honestly, recruiters don't even use the word keywords. This is really something I use for candidates. These are just the qualifications that the hiring manager specifically asked for, written in a way that we can essentially find them. So recruiters don't even use the word keyword. That is actually something I use specifically for candidates. We do qualifications, but if I kept saying qualifications, people would get confused because colloquially everybody knows them in keywords, and this is kind of the problem with giving this advice in the first place. It's hard as hell to do. So that was 10. What was this? This was 102. Okay. But yes, that is what this is for you to ask questions that you wanted to a recruiter, and I will answer you as honestly as I can. I can't go too deep into previous companies I've done because that, I don't want to do that. I can tell a little bit of the stories, but yeah, but I can tell you how these things work. Definitely changed my mindset now, the whole play the game versus beat the game. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to steal that. Nobody plays the game. Everybody's trying to beat the game. And meanwhile, recruiters are sitting in the corner like, please play. Please. Our job, I feel like there's a misconception that recruiters are sitting there like, haha, rejection. Haha, rejection. And I'm sure there's some jerks. There's always going to be some jerks in every profession. But we actively want to see these things on your resume. The easier it is for us to find those, the better our job is. It's so much easier. I have gone through roles where I'm just, please give me the keywords. And here's another example of this, right? There was a candidate that, by all means, one of the things I needed was to see that they had Excel or used computers. It looked like they had it. They didn't have it directly, but it looked like they had it. And I made this mistake 2 years ago. And, I'm like, you know what? They probably have it, right? They probably have it. And in my head, I should have not done that. I moved it to the manager. The manager interviewed them, and the manager said they did not have any computer skills. Even though it looked like they should have, they did not. And that was on me. That was a bad move on my part. I should have even emailed them. It's actually not a good story that shows my competency, but I swear I'm good. But yeah, so if it's not in the resume, it doesn't exist. And recruiters will eventually be like, oh, well, it'll probably be here. And then guess what happens? They get rejected. And the recruiter looks bad. So you absolutely cannot send it without it. All right, this is a program manager Flames Last guy. I love this. I love this reference. This is what we do in the Shadows reference. All right. You have reviewed my resume for and made changes to all my job description. I've been looking mostly at tech sector, experience of data science. My background is finance, and considering switching back to field. Okay, cool. This is a resume review of Laszlo. I cannot do his accent. Laszlo's Cravenworth. Is Jackie Daytona. This is a What We Do in the Shadows reference, which is an excellent show. You all need to watch it. This is amazing. This resume made me laugh. This person is looking for a program manager. This is the second time around. I think their previous one had about 100 to 1, so hopefully we can get that a little bit better. This is what we're going to be looking for as a program manager. We're going to be looking for your industry. This is actually going to matter a lot. Is the specific industry you're in matters for program manager? Like if you're in healthcare, if you're in accounting, etc. PMP, always a good thing. Microsoft Project Visio, Microsoft 365, MS Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, pivot tables, cross-functional, highly matrixed organization, stakeholders, customers, clients, how you succeeded and managed multiple projects at the same time. Education, okay. Formatting-wise, this should not be bolded. None of this should be bolded, all right? This should be one line. This, I think, should also be one line. These really... Oh, no, this is a certificate. What? Okay, this is just hard to read. Yeah, this is... this could maybe be 2 lines, but this entire thing should be 3 lines max, okay? No bold. No bold. This also should not be bolded, but I am okay with the way you did this because, again, no bold, but this is 2 positions. So, using Agile, which is not actually a keyword I found. Framework, I led and managed a team of 17 employees across 6 distinct projects included in the business sales and operations unit of a major cloud provider. That's pretty solid. It tells a little bit more about it. You can say in an agile environment instead of using. So utilize Microsoft Office as well as SQL Jira to execute and manage project plans and successfully set and meet milestones. Ensure deliverables exceeded client expectations on all projects totaling 2.4 million. Good. Let's see. So we have SQL. We have enough with SQL. In fact, here's kind of the thing with this is this is actually weirdly more of an Excel thing than a SQL thing for program manager. So there's a lot of SQL and develop metric and claim to context. This should be 1 bullet point, and I think you should just you can say used or created a dashboard to facilitate discussions with stakeholders to set and manage expectations for the project. So in general, there's a lot here that's good. We need to tweak it a little bit, a couple of bits of the formatting. Also, Gizmo gives bad references because his name is Guillermo. who's the best person ever. Make sure this does not go to Colin Robinson, because he really doesn't know corporate as well as he thinks he does. AI model, yeah. So there's a little bit tech here, a little too tech heavy. I really want to see a bit more of the management one, right? Like, I like this, but I want it shrunken down. The stakeholders are the important, not necessarily the SQL and Power BI. And the utilize Microsoft Office. I want to say created Excel spreadsheets using pivot tables and PowerPoints, or whatever, pivot tables, PowerPoints, VLOOKUP, to manage project plans and meet deadlines, right? And then you can do the deliverables on projects. It still reads a little bit more like a data scientist or a data analytics person, but I can tell this is better than it was previously, right? So that is what I'm looking for, is more of these, and I did update this keyword list since the last time you sent it, I think. So that's kind of the issue, is it still reads a little bit too much like a data analyst or data scientist type position, and less like a program manager. I want to go more into detail about this, right? Like, you could also say, led a team of 17 employees in an agile environment across a cross-functional, right? Cross-functional environment of a major cloud provider. We're closing in on it, all right? Again, I can definitely see this being better, getting a little bit more interviews, but we need to focus more on the program manager than the analytics and data side. Next resume. Okay, don't remember if you mentioned this. Do ATS count the keywords? That is in AI ATS. Which, honestly, even then, it gives like a score. But the funny thing is, even if you do my method, it'll still look good even for that. But it doesn't count the keywords. It literally just, all it does is order them, right? It's trying to think of a better way to describe it, because it's sort of a specific thing. It is a file cabinet, right? That's really all you need to think of it of, is I say, oh, this is my requisition. Pull out the file cabinet. These people applied in this order. Okay, they put in X and Y. I can move them forward. I can decline. Next one. Move them forward, then decline. Next one. Like, that's all it is. It's really just a nested file of folders. That's it. So yeah, while an AI ATS could do that, and I have seen that they have some of that stuff, you don't really have to worry about them in the vast majority, right? Remember, those are very rare in the overall market. Yeah, I know everybody thinks it's some crazy advanced tech, and it's not. Like, and even if it is, I've seen recruiters that have used AI ATSs just skip those functions because it doesn't work. Like, AI is very useful. There's a lot of things you can have for AI. I don't think it's going to be checking the resumes as one of them. Now, actually, there was a feature that I thought was interesting, which was it would recommend jobs to candidates in our system, which I think is actually very good. Or alternatively, it could offer like other jobs that meet those things, but that's not checking the individual person. That is a sort of feature on the back end for the candidate. And again, that doesn't matter if you get rejected or not. That's sort of a bonus to it, and would help candidates, not hurt them. But it's basically a cabinet. Like, it's a file cabinet. That's all it is. They say, hey, I need to look at this requisition. And a lot of it, there's a lot of details that candidates don't get, because that's why they don't see that it's important. Is like, this shows us the manager's email. This shows us the previous requisitions the manager has had. It shows us if a candidate has applied to multiple roles, because sometimes that's good. A lot of times that's good. It shows us, it keeps the candidate's email address and everything else, so that if we need to contact them, we have it immediately. We don't have to search everywhere. We go, this is the rec, they're in this status. It shows us who has been declined, who has been accepted, who has been moved to a manager, who has been moved to an interview. So it does a lot of stuff for recruiters that we need to handle it in volume. Because it's all about volume. That's kind of the thing that I think a lot of candidates don't get, is like, well, why is it that you can't do this? All it takes is 2 minutes. Like, yeah, we don't have 2 minutes. We have 15 seconds on your resume. Like, I would say 20% of a recruiter's job is sorting candidates, like, which is still 1/5 of your job, but the rest of it's usually meeting managers, keeping the interview scheduled, seeing if there's any problems in the process, fixing job applications that don't necessarily get a lot of traction, and then maybe sourcing if you have time. So, and that's from an internal agency, not necessarily an external agency. If it makes you feel any better, a lot of hiring managers don't know what the hell we do either. And a lot of the times what I do when I meet hiring managers for the first time is I ask them, when is the last time you hired? And in addition to that, what do you know about recruiting? What do you know that I do? And not a lot of managers, this formatting, not a lot of managers actually really know the nitty gritty of what recruiters do. We just don't tell them, which I think is sort of a flaw. Which also, if there's any recruiters here, a good thing to do is to tell them what you do, because a lot of them think we just look at requisitions and disposition the good candidates, and they don't really understand the process or the volume of it. And obviously, every industry is going to have bad apples that do things wrong. Everyone's going to have people that are crazy and they do crazy things, but the vast majority of them, which is what I'm talking about, they don't do what you think we do, right? We do things differently, and it works, because when you market, when you have it at scale, that's when things get a little odd, right? Like, you're not looking at a resume, you're looking at resumes in mass, and that's when things get a little bit weird on what is and is not done. And people are like, well, it should be common sense. Is like, recruiters will try that, and they will get rejected or not make any placements. Yes, there is a large amount of misunderstanding. So, and there's also, like, not every company trains recruiters. I've worked for a lot of good companies that train, but I know there's a lot of others that don't necessarily train them. So a lot of times they just throw them in the deep end and be like, hey, do it. And they're like, what do I do? Like, you're the recruiter, you tell me. And it's like, I didn't get trained. But the companies I've worked for did train. So that was good. And I'll be right back. Bear. Bear, come on. Come on, lazy bones. Bear, come here. He's not moving. He's so tired. Look at a little tail flap. Okay, you're sleepy. All right, that's fine. I will let you rest, doggy. He is so tired. You got sleep last night, buddy. I don't know why you're so tired. But yeah, there's a lot of misunderstanding. And I've actually been pretty blessed with the companies I've worked for, in that they actually are pretty big on training. Because I definitely know there's a lot of other recruiters that, when they went through the same recruiting process as I was, they're like, yeah, I'm so glad this company trains. Like, the last one, they just threw me in, and I'm like, ugh. So, and then I've led some trainings too. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. Like, I want everybody to know this. Nobody uses recruiters because they have, until they have to. If a company could, they would get rid of all their recruiters. They only have us because they need us. So there's a lot of misunderstanding of recruiters, because we're not very popular, unfortunately. And I can understand why, but no one likes us until they realize, oh, this is why a recruiter is needed. And when a recruiter does something right, they may not know they did anything at all. It's true for a lot of roles, Clem. It's for a lot of cost roles, not income roles. But I think a big problem with recruiting is, when you do recruiting right, people will think you haven't done anything at all. So that's probably a big problem, is when you do it perfectly right, you'll never even talk to us except for maybe once. So our accomplishments always die in the dark. All right, let me do this resume, which, did that give me anything? I graduated in June 2019. Okay. This is a resume review of a data analyst. They have graduated in June 2024, and they have been searching on LinkedIn, Indeed, and Dice for data analyst jobs ever since. I personally do not like Dice. I have a vendetta against that. Not really a vendetta. I just don't think it's a great place. But Indeed and LinkedIn is where you're primarily going to get them. So what we're going to be looking for in a keywords perspective is SQL, Excel, Tableau, or Tableau, whatever. The tab button, this one, whatever this is pronounced. Power BI, AIML, Jira, Python, R, SME, data visualization, ETL, stakeholders, and solving issues with data. Arguably the most important ones are going to be the Excel, SQL, stakeholders, and Power BI and Tableau. But we still want to see the others. Okay, this is a nightmare to read. I will say this person has a 1 to 75 ratio, which for a first, which isn't terrible for your first job. Because remember, the hardest job search you will ever have in your life is getting your foot in the door. That's just unfortunately the case. It was the case 10 years ago when I started looking. It was the case when I started doing recruiting. It's just getting your first 2 years in is always the hardest. And right now, this market is really bad, which is like an extra negative to it. So, formatting, no boy. All right, there's a lot here. Can I like, I have to undo this. Like, I can't even go down that far. All right. So, at the very bottom of this, there is a certifications and education section. Just needs to be at the top. Right? This needs to replace the skills section. I don't think skills sections are good. Which, again, you can't even see it right here on the screen. I can only see it. It's way at the bottom under this. So your certs and education section need to be up top. Nothing here should be bolded. All right? Use this formatting. This is a nightmare of everything. All right? There's too much bolding and everything. So the skills section should be deleted and instead replaced with the education and cert section. Then we go here, financial internship, budget preparation, financial analyst, leveraging forecast models, don't care, develop budget, blah, 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 don't care. Power BI, I actually care about that for insights and stakeholders. This is okay. So this is actually good. The problem is these are sort of mid bullet points, right? Like I want to see SQL, Excel, Tableau. Also, stop bolding everything, please. It makes it so hard to read. It's really bad to keep bolding everything. Your bullet points should stand out on their own. So this should be arguably, I would say, your second or first bullet point. And then I also want to know that you did some other stuff here because there's nothing here I can really hook into. I don't see any SQL, Excel. I don't see any AI. I don't see Jira. I don't see data visualization. I don't see SME, which is subject matter expert. Then use root cause analysis. Don't care. SQL Server. Perfect. I like SQL. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Seasonal state inventory. Yeah. So the fact that you're getting interviews is because you have some of the keywords, but they're not written right. Like here we go, Python, AWS implemented ETL. This is great. Use Python and AWS to implement ETL process to extract, clean, and transfer customer feedback, Reddit data receiving process. I want you to write the rest of it. Actually, these right here, all right? Developed weekly Power BI dashboards to analyze customer sentiment for Amazon Echo and Alexa, helping Amazon identify negative feedback, improve product quality, and used Python and AWS to implement ETL processes to extract, clean, and transform customer feedback on Reddit. These two are this is how I want you to write every single bullet point. This one is okay too, but these are fantastic. The problem is a recruiter's going to go down here and stop. They're going to see all that bolding, and then they're going to go, data analyst, star schema, which I don't care about, inventory insights, and then maybe they'll see AWS. The fact is you do have the keywords written and stuff, but you're sort of making it harder on yourself. You're burying what we need. So use this format, please. There should only be 4 things bolded in your resume, max. That's it. Stop with all the bolding. I don't know where everybody decided to bold everything. Makes it way worse. And then make these sentences better. Make this sentence better. These sentences better. And these are fine. These are fantastic, actually. Like these 3 are very good. I want to see more of them. These 3 sentences alone are probably why you're getting any interviews. Everything else is just hurting it. I want you to write this stuff I want you to write the rest of it like that. So right now, it's not great formatting, but you do have some of the keywords. The problem is your formatting is so bad, I may not be able to find them in the 15 seconds I have. And please, education and search should always be up top. There are very, very few times where you don't want your education and certs at the top. So let's go to the next resume. Yeah, sales gets glayed hard, not a peep when they don't bring in logos. Yeah, pronouncing it correctly, it means table in French. Okay. All right. Well, it just means table, tableau. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I get why sales is there. It's just, and it makes sense. Like, sales is necessary, but the problem is when you start looking at everything beyond sales as a cost measure rather than an amplifier. It's when you can start like picking up pennies while missing the dollars, which is an old-timey saying. So, but yes, I do agree that sales gets glazed hard, but I think on a lot of times sales is going to be a lot of your lifeblood, but you can't. It's if you see the rest of them as a cost measure rather than a cost amplifier, right? Like a productivity amplifier, which is really what support is, which is what LinkedIn, which is what recruiters are, which is what accountants are, is they're critical for the company. It's just they're harder to metrics on the overall profit. But like when you don't have them, things go down. So. Okay, entry-level software engineer. This is my most recent. I haven't tested the waters with it. Why? People need to tell me what kind of software engineer. I need to know, please. I can't just say entry-level. I need to know. Would websites like LinkedIn and Indeed be considered ATSs themselves? Yes, but no. They can act as an ATS. Indeed specifically has an ATS function. I think LinkedIn does as well, but they are primarily what recruiters call job boards. So more so than anything, they are job boards over ATSs, but they do contain the ability to. So again, sometimes like yes and no. Companies can in fact use it as an ATS, which is usually better for sort of smaller companies because you don't need all the fancy stuff. Like if you have 30 people in your company and you're hiring 3 more, realistically, you may not even need an ATS, right? Like ATS is typically for anything above if your company needs 30 hires a month, you probably need an ATS, right? Like obviously there's going to be some exceptions, but that's primarily the case. So it really depends on what the company needs, but they are technically not ATS, but they can be ATSs because Indeed does have an ATS function on it. And I'm pretty sure LinkedIn does as well. So. But again, ATSs are usually just file cabinets, and that is what that does, is it's just a file cabinet. For internal recruiters. So there is a difference between internal and external recruiters and job duties. It's kind of like the difference between, gosh, I'm trying even to think of a good one. They're just very different jobs. I will be honest. Like, even though they both have recruiter in the name, they're almost entirely different on the duties that you're required to and the skill set you need to succeed. So internal and external are very different. And people confuse them a lot all the time. Okay, that's good. And away we go. This is a resume review of a software engineer. What kind of software engineer, Lee? I don't know. They didn't tell me. You need to tell me. You need to tell me what kind of software engineer you are, because that's going to really depend on how I view the resume, because a Python dev is different than a full stack, is different than a front end, is different than a Java dev. So I'm barely able to know the keywords. Basically, if I can tell what keyword you are, that's going to help. So you said specifically that this is your most recent resume. It's 150 to 1. Ooh, that's not a good ratio. I was wondering if it would be optimal to have the project section before the experience section, as there are more important keywords there. Well, maybe. We'll see. Okay, let's judge it. Let's see what it is. Again, I don't know what kind of software engineer you are, so I'm missing the keywords here. Okay, formatting is slightly off and it's hurting my eyes. Please fix the formatting. I don't know if this is right. It should be 10.5 Arial, but there's something off about this. All right, maybe there's not, and it's just all the extra boldeds and everything. So education is fine. If you are a U.S. citizen in the United States and you're applying to on-site roles, which you should be, you should put green card holder or U.S. citizen in city and state, which should be the one down there. Then we can have this. This should be one line. I don't need this relevant coursework. Everybody has that. It's irrelevant. Data operations for Python and Git. Data, say Python and Agile. Okay, so there's too much here, but this is actually not terrible for a software engineer position. So I would keep this if you're going for Python, because developed Python is going to be a keyword for Python. Git can be a keyword for Python. HTML is sort of for full stack. Pandas sometimes for Python. Over to the data set, reducing manual time. Like, this is actually okay. Your formatting is making this very hard for me to read. Optimize Python script in an agile environment. That's actually good. I don't really care about this or this, but at least you have optimized Python. An integrated OpenAI's RESTful API to prototype AI ML driver. That one's actually okay. So the thing with this is not terrible for Python. I think you should just start applying for Python roles. And I'm looking at the one under that. That one doesn't really have anything I need, honestly, except for CI/CD. CI/CD is good. So if you're going for Python, which based on these, it looks like you can, and instead of a data operations intern, you can probably put software engineer intern. Should be okay. Again, titles are malleable. The point is you have a title that is specifically gives you the person a better idea of what they are. You're not lying about your title. What you are is in the interview say, yeah, technically my official title was data operations intern, but it seemed that everybody else in the market called those duties software engineer. So that's what I put. That's okay. As long as you can say that to the manager, that's okay. If you can't say that to the manager, then don't do it. Then you are lying. So what we're going to be looking for is Python, SQL, Docker, Kubernetes, Django, Cloud, RESTful API, Agile, and bonus for full stack. And what I see here is Panda could be, sometimes Panda. HTML is sort of for full stack. Agile is good, but I am missing more Python. I'm missing Docker. I'm missing Django. I'm missing Kubernetes, and I'm missing the cloud. So this resume is not getting you stuff because I don't see those keywords in it. And the font here, I don't know what exactly it is, but this is hurting my eyes to look at. Like, I don't know if it's all the bolding, if this is too big, but I want 10.5 Arial. 10.5 Arial for everything here, right? This should be all 10.5 Arial. You may want to leave out this IT intern because I don't know if there's anything here that I could, like, use and then go straight to the projects. But again, with the projects, this is okay, yeah. So I would keep this and format it more towards Python and then probably delete this or just keep it as like one little line. But probably delete it and then go straight into the projects. So would this pass? No, but it's very close to, because it sort of reads between a full stack and a Python dev, and I need you to pick a lane with it, essentially. So it doesn't have the TypeScript, which I'd be looking for full stack, and it doesn't have quite enough for Python. So you're sort of in between two of them, and you're going to need to pick one. Ideally, you could just make one resume for each, and you should be good. So that's it for this video. Is that it for this video? I actually have to double check. Yes. I thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you need more help, stop by my live stream at whatever the link is down below on Twitch. I help out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. PST till about 2 p.m. PST. And I will see y'all in the next video. Awkward ending. Woo. Any thoughts about these easy apply button? Yeah, I mean, it's easier to, the harder it is to apply, the less your competition. So it does work. It's just, you know, they'll probably find somebody in the first 60. So you want to be early. And I mean, if you see an easy apply with one person on it, slam that button down, do it. But, you know, it's from a time commitment worth it, I would say. But realistically, unless you're very early, even then, you're probably not going to get it. It's just because it's the competition. It's just that fierce. There's just so much of it. So this was 103.5, I think. Was this 103.5? Let me check. Yes, that was 103.5. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a real job. It's just their competition is so much harder. Because, like, anything, the easier it is to apply for a job, the more people are competing with you. You know? And that just sucks, but that's the point. So, ideally, the harder it is to apply, or the worse something seems, or there's an error in the job description, the better your chances. Like, a company that is always hiring is a company that is always losing talent, typically. Not always. Like, I want to be clear. Like, if you're a big company of 100,000 people, you're still always going to be hiring. But, because that, just per volume, people are going to normally churn. You're going to need people. But, like, if you're a company of, like, 100 and you're always hiring, so it's easy to get a job, there may be something off with that. But that doesn't count for, like, big companies because, again, big companies are technically always hiring because, you know, if you've got, like, 150,000 employees, even if you lose 0.01% a year, you're still going to need a lot of... Well, my math isn't good. Don't trust me in math. But, yeah. What is with this? Is this the wrong font? Like, this is bugging the hell out of me is what the hell the font is with this. But I feel like it's wrong, and I don't know why it's wrong. And that bugs me. I don't like it. It scares me. The font scares me. Alright, I'm trying to change industry, but don't know how to break into tech. Well, wrong time. For a junior full stack or help desk, those are different jobs, bro. Those are two very different resumes. Okay. Do I have a help desk saved? Really should, but I don't think I actually do. Wow, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Weird. I thought I did. Well, then we're doing the easy one because I don't want to. I don't want to have to look it up if I don't have to. Because that's the part that takes the most out of my brain. Is that part. Let's see, so they are looking for a full stack dev. Full stack dev. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. A full stack dev. It's a full stack dev. And then I think this is it. What is their ratio? Don't know. Let's go. This is a resume review of a full stack dev or a help desk. Just to let you know, I'm reviewing this as a full stack dev. A help desk one and full stack dev are going to have dramatically different keywords, and the resume that will get you a job for one is not going to get you a job for the other. So we're reviewing this specifically as a full stack, not help desk, although I kind of know the keywords for help desks. So this person's ratio is unknown. We don't know how many applications to interviews they've had. And if y'all like this stuff, please stop by my live stream. I do it live. I answer live questions. I help you find the keywords in the first place every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. The link is below on Twitch. I think it's twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter. I should really know that. But anyway, let's do this resume, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this stuff, or submit your own. So what we're going to be looking for a full stack specifically is TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, SQL, React, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, and extra languages. And I don't see that anywhere here. This looks... Okay, so here's the problem. I don't think a CompTIA A+ cert is going to be needed in a full stack dev. A full stack web dev course, probably. Associates in computer, yes, but this one I don't know if it's needed. Maybe this is needed in a help desk. I think it is. So this is a case where you don't want to put this if you're looking for help desk, while you don't want to put this if you're looking for full stack. Manage a team of 3 employees, collectively training junior hires and students onboarding. Okay. Nothing here I need, right? This is kind of my problem. I don't have anything here I need. Nothing here I'd like. I think this is good for social skills, which is fine, but I need this stuff, right? This is the key. The keywords will get you a job. They are the key to getting a job. This one, mentored and coached 10 ML juniors in Scratch, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. That one's actually okay. This one is solid. This actually shows that you know the fundamentals and you can teach people. Developed individual course plans based on student goals and implemented progress tracking, ensuring your progress experience. Okay, again, don't really care about a lot of this. EMT, good on you. The world needs more EMTs. But I tried to be an EMT once and I failed that course. Was not good at it. So yeah, the problem with this is from both of a help desk and full stack is I don't see what I need, right? Like, at all. I don't care about a training structure. I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't. I don't care that you enhanced employee readiness through data-driven trainings. What I want to see is, data-driven trainings involving TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. This is the only sentence I have that I really can use. And this is fine because, you're teaching kids that's kind of stuff, which means you need the fundamentals of it yourself. And I notice that you're trying to change industries, but like, I don't see anything I need, because if you don't have this stuff, right? If you don't have this stuff, you cannot be a full stack dev. If you don't have the stuff they need for help desk, which again, I don't have off the top of my head, I think it's primarily like Windows environments, installing, deleting, bug fixing, that kind of stuff, they're not going to put you in. So I need to see the keywords, because this I can't do anything with this. The formatting is fine. I want to be clear. Your formatting is perfect. I like the formatting. No qualms about the formatting, but like, you need this stuff, right? Now, what you can do, since you did a full stack dev and a computer science, is instead of work experience, you can put projects. So the projects you did at that can go over your work experience. And normally, work experience is better than projects, but in this case, if you don't have any skills in the work experience, you put the projects first. So, just doing created a web application using TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML in a agile environment at school. That's fine. That's what the projects is. So I would put this more as a projects thing over your work experience, and then maybe shrink this down. I actually really do think this is a good one. A lot of them here are good, but like, again, I don't care that you manage 3 employees. I don't care that you train 200 hires. I'm not hiring for a manager. I'm hiring for a full stack dev. This is the only stuff I'm really going to pay attention to. So unfortunately, this resume does not pass, although the formatting is fantastic. So you did everything right there, but I need the keywords in projects, or alternatively like help desk, but I don't see it for either help desk or this. So let's move to the next resume. For developer roles, I've seen these hard requirements for language that I personally disagree with. As a dev, language has tools. So here's the thing. I can't code with crap, Uber. If you put in, I know that Java is back end, JavaScript is front end sometimes, but not always. But if you put Java, JavaScript, Python, and C++ in front of me, I would not be able to tell you which is what, because I'm not a coder, right? The problem is the managers I speak to, the vast majority of them do not agree with your assessment. Now, there are some, I want to be clear. No, a lot of them don't. A lot of them want a hard year of requirement with a certain language. Now, there are definitely some that say languages are irrelevant, right? There are 2 schools of thought, is that you need to do X amount of time on the language, or languages are irrelevant. And I would say the do X amount of times on the language is more than the other one, but there are definitely, like, it's a 70-30 split. So they do need to see that you have those languages. Now, admittedly, if somebody's hiring, like, hey, I need somebody with 10 years of Java, and you have 9, you should be okay. And a lot of them, right, a lot of job descriptions here, Java, let's say Java developer, right? They will say, let's see, oh God, I hate this job description. Let's look at a better one. Hoobly. Qualifications, familiar with Java and at least 1 scripting. So they will count both of these. So Python, JavaScript, that's what they want, right? Like, whatever is in the job description is what you need to go by. That is your Bible, I guess. But here, they don't care, right? They just need Python or Java or Go. So some people do care, which I'd say is like 70% of them, 30% don't. But, this is what it is. It's the job description specifically. If it's not in the job description, I don't care. Now, obviously, you're not going to have everything in every job description. You really just need about 75%. So that's what you want to need. Although in this market, maybe you need 85%. So does that make sense? And I actually got most of my stuff with IT recruiting. IT recruiting is, I would say, my strongest recruitment. That is the best thing I can recruit in, which unfortunately is in a super downturn. So Not able to really do much with that right now. It's because nobody's really hiring it, which really sucks. So, but yeah, it's gonna depend because whatever is in the under requirement. Does it actually say no jerks allowed? Oh yeah, they do. Whatever is in here, this is the thing you got to go by. So this is why you search for a bunch of them and combine them. Is that maybe you're not gonna have everything, but you're gonna have enough, right? This is a software engineer backend. They just want a bachelor's. They want APIs. This is actually .NET. So Java. This wants a little bit of Docker's, Kubernetes, and Git, which is weird. It's not normal. So yeah, that's kind of the thing is whatever is in the job description is what you need. So this is why you need to look at like say 20 Java developer roles and then parse out the most common keywords and then use that to build your resume on. So, because that is what will get you a job. How can a candidate position to go into roles that require language they haven't really used? Unless, I mean, not really, because that means you're not qualified. But again, like some of them, if you see something that says like or equivalent language, you're fine. Oh wow, what is this one? This one broke. So like if it says here, right? This, if it says Java, Python, and JavaScript, that's fine. And a lot of the times, I don't want people to overhype how much they need. Because a lot of the times candidates think they say, oh, they said JavaScript. I need to be the strongest JavaScript person. Realistically, you could be a bad JavaScript person as long as you know what it is and can kind of barely do it. So don't disqualify yourself. If you have the skill, don't pretend to know how important it is because sometimes they just want somebody who just knows it. And I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom real quick. Love, I got about 30 minutes left. Okay. No, I know. I just wanted to tell you the time. Have you seen experience with at least one? Yeah. Oop, hi, Bear. Go, Mom. Rose, I think he wants to see you.
What do you want? Pick one. In or out?
Bear.
Right, in or out? Looks like he wants you.
Okay, he's picking Dad.
He wanted me to come inside.
All right. My fiance is home early tonight because we have a wedding prep to go to tonight for the wedding on Friday. So, and she just came in and Bear was like unsure of if to go because now he's still watching to go. So what he wants is my fiance to come into the same room with us because he likes us to all be together because he's a baby. And right now he's standing by the door, but yeah. But yes, so happy to see description saying something along like experience with at least one programming seems more aware. Yeah. So again, there are two schools of thought. And remember, I've recruited for both types of managers where they say, I just need somebody that's like done a year of Python. And if they have 9 years of Java, that's fine. Or they need exactly 9 years of Java and no substitutes. So if you want, you could leave the door open. I don't know if you're, but yeah. So it's really going to depend on the manager. And I really think that the, 70% is fine. So also everybody say hi to my fiance. She's outside of that, but it will embarrass her. Family hugs and hello, honey. So, all right. She does not like to be on camera, so I like to embarrass her. So it's a good combo, I think. Oh gosh, this one. All right. Oh boy. There she is. That's my fiance right there, Rosie, who in a month will be my wife. So, okay, this is the pharmacological. Oh gosh, this is so difficult to. Always gives me the hard one. I might push this one off until later because I need to have like a fresh mind of it. I can only hope hiring managers change their mindset. They probably won't. It's just who they are at this point, and it's, you know, if it's not on the job description, and a lot of them do want that, a lot of them don't want that. It's, you can't please everybody, and that's okay. So, but I've hired people for both. Oh gosh, they're so. Okay, I may have to push the. I don't know if I have enough brain power for a pharmacological specialist right now. This is submitting after feedback from colleagues. Think they missed a lot of keywords. Getting auto rejected requires less experience. It's been being auto filtered out to my degree. Much of my industry is currently being offshored. Okay, yeah, I need to. That will require some more research later. So I'm gonna do this a little bit out of order and do another data analyst. Because my brain no worky. It's that again, the hardest part for me is finding the keywords specifically, and well, that's a lot of keywords, especially for a role I don't know off the top of my head. So a pharmacological specialist is going to be a little difficult. So we're going to go to a data scientist, make it easier. This one's been a lot of actual me having to double check the keywords, which is seriously the most time intensive part. Okay, data analyst. Data analyst. SQL, Tableau. It's apparently, right, like a pharmacological, although I don't see any, like here it is, pharmacovigilance case processing manager. Pharmacovigilance, that is the word, yes. Just like the word oleonucleotide scientist, which I had to learn. This is why you cannot expect a recruiter to be an expert in your field, is they're going to be doing a pharmacovigilance, an oleonucleotide, a Python developer, a full stack developer, 3 data scientists, 2 IT managers, and an HR specialist all at once, along with 15 other roles. So this is why you can never expect a recruiter to actually have industry knowledge in everything. And a lot of times they don't. And the exception to that was IT, because IT was very tough, and now that IT is down, that's not going to be the case anymore. Like, over the last 4 years, or 3 years, we're definitely going to lose a lot of IT recruiting knowledge for when IT comes back. So, yes, that is why it's very tough, and that is why an ATS is important, is because I can just look, here's my pharmacovigilance specialist. Here's this. Here's that. And I will typically have another Excel spreadsheet where I have the qualifications and that kind of stuff and documentation. It's so much documentation. So, all right, we're going to do the data analyst. And that's what we need. So, this is a resume review of a data analyst. They just changed their format. I hope you can point out where I can improve. They've been applying and cold messaging daily on LinkedIn, Indeed, and Monster for an amounts more, but haven't done much interviews, mostly ghosts and online assessments. Okay, so the market's very bad. You have a 1 in 75 ratio. Let's see what we can do to fix that. So, what we're going to be looking for a data analyst specifically is SQL, Excel, Tableau, Power BI, AIML, Jira, Python, R, SME, data visualization, ETL, stakeholders and solving the issues with data. SME stands for subject matter expert. This, I don't need the graduated. Yeah, we can have a graduated in June. That's fine. It shouldn't be bolded though. Don't bold it. Also, if you are a U.S. citizen, which you are, this should be in the slight line below it down here, and it should say which state. You're probably not going to get a remote job right out of college. Realistically, now, remote jobs, you need to have like 3 to 5 years experience, which really sucks. I like remote, but you're probably, after college, going to have to get an on-site job. And you want to show the state you're in, the city and state. That's all we need. So if you're in New York, just put U.S. citizen in New York. Work history. None of this needs to be bolded. This bolded. This no bold. Let's see if I can find it. Can I find additional ability using Excel and Power BI to manage and forecast operation expenses? And okay, good. Used Excel and SQL to create a variance analyst model. These are already what we're going to do. performance, reducing budget, use Power BI to create a factor or new financial statement for leadership and stakeholders. Perfect. So I would like a little bit more on this one. I think these are solid. And in this case, I would say instead of used, you can just say creative financial dashboards for stakeholders using Power BI where they made X and Y. I want a little bit more details, and then you can just say created instead of used on this one. But otherwise, I think this is okay. So we're starting to get better into the bullet points, which I think is why you're getting like 1 to 75, when I think before you were like 1 to 50 or something. So that's much better. We're learning and we're doing it better. I like it. So then let's go to the next one. Use Power BI to automate your inventory manager. That's okay. SQL. So what I would like is, and I'm trying to see if I can find this. I don't see any Python. I don't see any R. We have enough Power BI. I want to see Tableau if possible. And so you have SQL. What I would like, right, is I want to see you solve problems. So I want to know what a problem was and how you solved it with data. But overall, I think these are okay. You just need to fix a couple of formatting bits. You need to add a little bit to this. And I think we can go from 1 to 75, maybe to 1 to 50. Remember, I want you, this is the order of applying is the faster you apply to a job, the better your chances. If you apply to a job that is, say, 2 days old and that has 100 plus people, you may not even get seen. ATSs sort people in the order they came in. So make sure to search by recent, not by most likely. But overall, I think this is solid. We're really just missing we're missing Tableau. We're missing, I would say, something from this row. You don't need all 4, but you need at least one of these. You need either AI/ML or Jira or Python or R. I need at least one. I need to know how you were the subject matter expert. And I want to say, instead of this, I want to say created a data visualization dashboard for stakeholders and leadership using Power BI, right? Where they decided X and Y. That I want you to add a little bit more to that. And then if possible, ETL. But other than that, we then need issues with data. Well, that's the wrong button. How to solve issues with data. So overall, not bad. We're getting there. Fix a little bit of formattings. We need AI, ML, Jira, Python, or R. Just one of those. You don't need all of them. We need to see how you're the SME. And we need to see how you solved issues with data. And then just fix the sentence I have highlighted to add a little bit more. And I think you're going to be get a lot more interviews. We are now approaching the middle of the year, which is the average time. So I want to be very clear to everybody. January, February, and March is when the most jobs of the year are. So now we're settling down into the rest of the year. This is what it's going to be like for the rest of the year. So we want to get you to at least 1 in 50, 1 in 40, which I think we can do if you start adding those. But this is much improved from the last one. Next resume. Okay, so here's my view of cover letters. Okay, here's my view of cover letters. The only time a cover letter is needed is when the recruiter fails to convince the hiring manager that a cover letter is not needed. I don't know how to write a good cover letter. I'll be perfectly frank with you. I've tried to convince managers not to have it. I don't look at it. Most other recruiters rarely look at the cover letters. It's specifically, if they require it, you should just have one off the cuff that you can send in. But I don't think most people need it, and you shouldn't send it to everyone. So I wish I had a better thing of that, but unfortunately that's kind of the case. So that'll be it for me today, because we only have about 12 minutes left, and I gotta get ready for the wedding. Pre-party, whatever it's called, the pre-thingy. But does anybody have any last-minute questions before we raid another stream? I will be back Monday. I'm not going to be here Friday. Rehearsal. My fiance just told me it was the rehearsal. We're going to the rehearsal today. That's the word. If it's optional on a job application, I wouldn't put it in, but I would create basically a template and then just change like one thing if it's required and submit that. I would not spend a ton of stuff on it. So, let's go to Nan Codes. I think she's cool. And, study time is there, or Lana Lux. Yeah, let's go to, we're going to go to Lana Lux because we haven't been there a while. She's really awesome. She has a cool vibe. I will be back. Like I said, I will be back. My brain did not work. I am going to be back on Monday at 11 a.m. PST. And I will see you all then. Thank you for joining me. Let's go raid this channel. It's really beneficial. It helps me. It helps them. This is kind of the appropriate stuff. So I'm going to wait for people to say they're ready for raid, and we're going to go, and I'll see you all next time where I can help everything. And yeah, no worries. Well, I'm getting married next month. This is my friend's wedding. There's so many weddings this one. So, and away we go. Thank you. I will be back Monday.